dramatically changed. Some money has definitely bailed. Some money's been lost, Flakes. $12. $5 nonetheless.
Ooh, yeah. The timing there. Just getting into Palace right as the rotation comes in from Sparta, sending them back towards the B site.
Few, but you can see with 1:10 on the clock, Espada haven't really pushed anything. They're just waiting. They know that Hard For You love this aggressive style. They've been prompted to show some patience in round number 18, but with a whole minute left, it's now mid control. We should be looking at some sort of A split through connector and possibly even window here. Remember that bench boost is very powerful. You can actually do it yourself. You can also do it silently. And with these smokes dropping, it's going to be this pinch, this crab onto the A site.
This could get quite hectic. I think the fact is that half of you having people in Palace will be a huge boon for them. Just forget to really wrap on and deny the plant here. CT push held off as well. Perfect stuff so far. Koshak, it's time to shine now. Drops the bomb. That causes Hiji to swing. This just looks like a textbook round. Really nicely done there.
Yeah, I've got to commend the patience from Hard For You. When there's only 30 seconds on the clock, you really do start to...
Account the economy perfectly, just buying time for those rotators to come in through market. Unfortunately, they didn't quite get out. They stuck within market doors, opting to take the short fight instead, but that's where they run into some bad luck. It will, of course, be completely set ablaze.
This is doable, but with only one prong going into this B bomb site for the retake and the time running out. Hard For You. They need to find these kills right here, right now. Sopvig, he's going to pick up that initial kill. That smoke grenade probably isn't going to offer them much solace. That's a great headshot. And with the combination of the nade putting Sopvig onto 50 HP, he can't really go for too much a wide peak, but they're out of time. This round is over. Espada on to 13, and they do seem to be just crunching down on this defense when it really matters. Yes, they've lost a round here and there. That's to be expected against any sort of caliber of team. Hard for you. They put up a little bit of a fight here and there, but they just don't seem to have the building blocks for a win on this opening map. And considering that this is probably their pick, that is not a good position to be in. Espada just 3 away from the finish line. We say that leads like this, they can vanish very quickly. A 5 or 6 round lead is like having £100 in a strip club, Flakes. Feels amazing, but it goes very, very quickly.
Well, I have nothing more to say about that, that's for sure. Seems like it is going to be speed and efficiency. Personally, I'm more of a stamina man, what can I say?
Humble brag. Always humble, Flakes.
I was going to roll that into a joke, but it didn't end up sort of taking off from there, but I suppose it is what it is.
I guess you've just got to be so careful about what you say as well, especially when the entrance to that joke is a strip club analogy.
Well, that and when one of the teams is hard for you, it's you got to find the right line there.
Yeah. I think that this can definitely go off the rails incredibly quickly. Just like this matchup, 13-8. Another nice CT round. Might feel a little too late. Let's see. This deficit is still manageable. And Espada, this is the first real force that they've gone for on this T side. Been playing quite a passive style. That Molotov and secondary grenade is actually going to slow them down momentarily. Oh, that wall gets completely caught off guard. Hazing had no idea it was coming, and the Tech 9 in his face. He gets shut away. Bomb planted in the initial seconds of this round. This retake is going to be so difficult. Hidji, how does he hit that shot? Something Finnegan falls. That evens up the numbers, but this AWP looking to do double damage. But Hard for You are just ready and waiting for it. It seems to be the Tech 9s and the pistols doing the majority of the damage here, and the rifles retrieved doing absolutely nothing. There goes the defuse. Really dodgy retake, and it's up to 9.
How have they got away with that? Honestly.
Oh. It's close, but no cigar.
Definitely a scrappy retake, but I do feel like Espada could have put themselves in a really solid position there to take that round. They might not have had the weaponry, but things were going their way. They just started to wide swing all of these rifles, and you need to be a little bit more tactile with pistols when you're playing against rifles, especially in a afterplant scenario like that. Rather than going in and just dumping it all out there in just a space of a couple seconds, you gotta make it last. See what you can find.
The most intelligent thing they did in that retake was they kept tabs on the AWP at all times. They were actually triple peeking.
They're doing the same thing here, actually, with the Deagles. They've just spammed him through the
back and forth. Relatively little play. And Hard for You, in all fairness, have been lucky to get some of the rounds that they've even put on the board. Whereas Espada, you can see the cogs turning at all times. They've been playing intelligent, regimented Counter-Strike. Even just that peek there, Patsy, you see him jiggle peeking that corner, hyper aware that Ren is down in underpass. I don't know if that's prior information gifted by Dexter or just pure raw game sense. This is going all Espada's way. It's going to be map number 1 going their favor if they can just take away this AWP and Deagle Flakes.
Yeah, I don't imagine Poria is going to be able to do too much here. Pretty much dead to rights, and that'll wrap up Mat 1. 16-9, Espada able to secure things relatively comfortably, to be honest. a pretty solid map of Counter-Strike, that's for sure. But let's head to map 2 and see what Havu have left in the tank. Will it be a 2-0? Will they flop in their first best of 3? Or will they step up and put a match on our screens? Let's find out, folks. Join us for just 5 minutes time.
That was like So that is what makes the controversy so interesting, because you've got this little paradox here where they are
Esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to LootBet to cash out now.
Get you one more time. I really wanna cross the line. I do it all before I die. I wanna get it on tonight. I wanna get you one more time. I really wanna cross the line. I wanna get you one more time, one more time, one more time, one more time. I want it one more time. I really need to make it right. Energy I overdose, 'cause I'm ready to reload. I need it one more time. But baby, then again twice. But I don't know if I'm ready to let go. I'm gonna have you one more time. I'm gonna hit it one more night with you. With you. I am committed 'cause I know it's you I want. Hope I never see you go. I'll come along.
I'm gonna have you one more time. I'm gonna have you one more night.
I wanna get you one more time. I really wanna cross the line. I do it all before I die. I wanna get it on tonight. I wanna get you one more time. I really wanna cross the line. I wanna get you one more time, one more time, one more time, one more time. Ooh, this time I wanna take it slow. I don't need my phone. I know how to picture in my mind the nights with you. I'm ready to enjoy the ride. I
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through eyes covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I wanna taste your content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption, breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to LootBet to cash out now.
Welcome back, folks, to map number 2 of this best of 3 series. We are here on Overpass. It's Sparta versus Hard for You. And of course, you're joining us for Loot Bet Season 7, the Swiss group stage, as it all continues. 20 teams battling out for their share, of course, of $50,000. Some decent cash on the line, that's for sure. In order to even get a chance to play for some real stakes, they do need to get some skin in the game, get through the group stages, and make themselves to that shiny playoff spot. So it all starts here. That Swiss stage, round 1 of Sparta versus Hard for You. What are they going to be able to do in this best of 3? Well, so far, Sparta, a map in the bag. Quite a strong one too, has to be said. Map 2, that's where we're going to be looking forward now. Will it be a 2-0 for Sparta and a Hard for You team finally dismissed after what was an incredible start to the Loot Bet event?
Well, they've won the knife round to start things off. It's one of the only things that they've been able to manage to win so far. And we go back to 0-0, the start of this second map. If it's anything like the first, we're going to an early 2-0 here. Hard for You. They love to throw a spanner in the works. Maybe this CT side can be the way to do it. They've not picked a single defuse kit in this pistol. That's what we saw. It was the sticking point earlier on their pistol on Mirage. Sparta, it was fast running and gunning, and we see a very similar turtled setup towards the connector, just rushing into toilets. Look at this speed, Flakes. They're right onto this A-bomb site already, and Poya, he needs to either, it's fight or flight time. He needs to either hit these kills or back right away, and it's Steamer hitting all of the headshots. Bombs already down, round's practically over already, especially without that kit in play. Wow, very fast round. That is pretty much
that was
where they left off.
I blinked, I missed it. It was really that simple.
Did you know the Doctor Who episode Blink came out 13 years ago, just the other day?
I know, it was actually quite an interesting moment. Some like childhood trauma, I think, still there.
I thought that was just a troll. I didn't realise it had been 13 years.
Like maybe it is a troll. I don't know.
I do feel old. I just feel old.
Yeah, I've already seen the grey hairs. He's good. There's nothing to come through.
Back in my day, we would sit around the television and watch Blink.
Would you watch Blink? Yeah, you don't watch Doctor Who, of course. Just specifically recycle that episode. Yeah.
That was a good episode.
It was a great episode.
Had a severe lack of David Tennant, but still a good episode.
Sounds like Doctor Who in a nutshell, to be honest. Hard for You, struggling from a severe lack of rounds on the board, as they are unfortunately going to be 2-0 down.
Best start. I'll finally get an opportunity with rifles once again. Hazing. It's no AWP. It's the FAMAS instead. Of course, their priority is getting AWPs into both Hidji's and Hazing's hand. Past that can be quite difficult, that double AWP setup. You're forced into a lot of retakes. This might be another one of them. Sparta, they need some kills as this C4 goes down in a way, and they just haven't spotted out Hazing. That's loads of damage. This 2v3 can easily be done, especially with a bomb drop now out in the open. Dexter, he's got to do everything, and it has to start with a couple of headshots here, Flakes. When's he going to hit these? And he doesn't. Hidji from the side closes him away. Hard for You, early onto the boards. And this was the play that really did it.
Yeah, this is what saved the round here. Without finding his aim there, different circumstance completely. Looks like the replay observer was just having a bit of a DJ moment there.
He tried to
his best
Mario Toad squash him.
Very juicy new round. Well, that's a phrase and a half, isn't it? You got 50% new bonus, folks, using code MANGO over on Loot Bet.
Does sound like something I would say.
It does, doesn't it?
Round.
Still feel like we should
Maybe
change the
I'm
code every day,
secretly-
though, to a new frame.
Yeah, no, I do as well. Maybe I'm secretly writing these.
Maybe it was you all along.
That would be the worst Miss Marple episode ever. squid. Again.
Just over a minute to work with. Half of you. There will no patsies here, just through the utility that he's throwing through the smoke, but Goshak has to be careful. A Mac 10 can chew you up at that range. Thankfully, he's able to get the first bullet off, and from there it becomes easy pickings. The real play is all towards B, and I have a feeling Poria has no support here. Ooh, I love the boost though. Oh, they were in a great boost position. That could have been nuts. Thankfully, the rest of the team will clean up anyways. Dexter becomes, surprise, surprise, last man standing. We've seen it before. We'll see it again now. I imagine guaranteed save. Just wants to carry that all forward.
This time, such an important player to lose first. And I do love that peek, and Pidgey almost gets away with it. Finnegan's going to find him, of course. Stood all the way out in the open. If you miss that shot, if you're facing two Ts, you're instantly dead.
Goshak has to be patient here. Bide his time. It works out so well. Finnegan will be there to trade, but not for long. It's hard for you to still play the man advantage to absolute perfection.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to LootBet to cash out now.
The rotates from Hard For You have been sensational. You see, every time Espada have stepped foot on either of these bomb sites, there have always been at least 3, usually 4 defenders to await them. This time, Espada have to do something very different. They have to throw the CT side through the loop. Of course, this can be quite a CT-sided map at times. It's amounting to... Definitely looks like we're going that way as of this point, but still early days. We've still got 50% of the half to be played. And Espada, even if they lose more and more, they're going to get rifles due to that elevated loss bonus. And for Hard For You, it's a lot of rounds in a row. This 5-2 scoreline, and they're walking into a bit of a stat once again. So it all comes down to this firepower. Hazing is just such a massive member of this Hard For You defense. You see he hits 2 headshots there, doing damage onto Dexter as well, who now retrieves the AWP. And Hard For You, they want no part of this one. They're going to go for the save. Of course, they've got that AK-47 in the hands of Ren. He's got $8,000 to go for this drop. And that's a lovely little bait from Poria. He drops the pistol over in the water. I think just a fake Deemer out there to force him forward. Maybe he was switching to a PD-50. I didn't notice. Either way, a 3rd round for Espada. A much-needed round for Espada as we get into the meat of this first half.
Yeah, I think if you approach this like a normal game, you know, if we were looking at FaZe versus Astralis on Overpass, for example, the storyline really would be Espada have to get to 5 or 6 rounds in order to be in a good position here on the T side. So I think if we apply that same mentality to this map, assuming that this isn't just a pug affair, which, not to discredit both of these teams, but that's definitely what we've seen from them in the past, has been that it's very loose, puggy Counter-Strike. But if we assume that it is a bit more a tactical foundation to it, then definitely Espada, I think, just need to repeat what they've just been able to do, use this to get 1 or 2 extra rounds in the bag, ideally. That is absolutely hilarious. They've tried to counter boost, and Dexter still just flicked to the right and killed him.
You don't see that every day. I don't think I've ever seen that. Hard For You seem hyper-aware how Espada are going to come into this matchup. You see that they're playing them really well. As soon as they know that this boost is in full effect, even though they don't hit the shot, Hazing has got himself right into this party position. Remember, they know that that's a 5-man boost. There can't be anyone anywhere through this map, and of course he's going to hit the headshots. That just seems all too common for Hazing. 2 quick kills before anyone gets the job done, And Patsy should be spotted. I think he's within the audio queue of Koshak here. If not, he's spotted that T. You have no idea. Here comes the flank. And 6-3 Flakes. That boost pays dividends, but it gives Hard For You such an upper hand. Look, this is the kind of boost that we were talking about. Not massively common. Remember, this is one of the advantages you have playing against a team who plays so much online Counter-Strike. You can dig into the Espada demos. Okay, Overpass, if that's the map that we're going to, let's have a look at how they play. Oh, they use this boost? Let's find a way to counter it. Maybe we put Hazing in an aggressive position. Maybe we put Poria. I don't think they're expecting Poria to go down right there. I think they're expecting him to hit the shot, even with just an M4 in hand. Of course, that range advantage goes to the AWP, but Poya, I think just a surprising fact of having somebody boosted up is usually going to be enough. That flash is perfect, and here comes the openings.
Poirier just in a great position. He's already done 2. He'll make it even to 3 as well there. Grabbing Sop. Forgetting Ren actually stole one of those kills in the end, but doesn't really matter. Frag is a frag, and CT side dropping them all dead here. Finnegan does become last man standing. He'll do what he can, but very little opportunity when you're 22 HP up against 3.
Looks like Hard For You are just hard anti-stratting Espada right now. You see those rotates and flanks are just coming way too fast to deal with. Espada have to change their game plan away from the default. That means that they're going to be perhaps caught off balance, but they certainly need to change something up because Hard For You are reading them at every single point. We've seen the counter boost, we've seen the fast flanks, we've seen the 4-man defensive setups on the B bomb site Flakes. This is Hard For You absolutely dominating right now, but there's still lots of Counter-Strike to be played. It's only 7-3. Remember, 16's that magic number. Hard For You is still a massive stretch away. So it's a good start, but that is all it is at this point. Definitely can't predict a winner by any means at this stage of the game. Can't predict if it's going to be a close or distant affair. And look at this. Once again, so much damage dealt against the pistols. Could become problematic. See that Espada just can't punish that little lapse of judgment.
Hard For You still are just such a strong position here on their CT side, to be honest. Everything's really going their way. And even now, with just the pistols, we could be realistically looking at an 8-3 scoreline. It's almost a carbon copy of how the last map went, but just slightly different teams. Dexter, Patsy, all that remain. They'll drop like flies, and from there, that 8-3 becomes the real scoreline. Sparta have to start thinking about getting themselves to those 5 or 6 rounds here if they really want to have something to work with in their second half. Especially given that there is a 2-0 on the table for them right now. They got that first map after all.
Massively important. Otherwise, Hard For You are going to be tapping at the door of double digits. I love that Hiji just doesn't stick around there. You can never go for that second shot, especially against an AWP like Dexter. He's almost always going to hit it. Hiji goes for a fast flick, not even a massively reactionary shot. Just knowing, right, I have to pre-fire one of these head glitch angles. I want to find that first kill. Precariously close, but no damage dealt early. And oh, here comes Koshak. He catches Espada with nades in their hands. And now it's down to Hiji once again. He's going to be playing right around this smoke. And it's only a 1-for-1 trade, but the rotate is already here. There's still 2 defenders on this site. Espada, their job is far from done, and Boya, he'll be looking to spray through this smoke, surely. He's right above Optimus, and there come the kills. 2 quick frags, and Dexter on such low HP. What really can he do? One from close, one from afar, and he hits both shots! That's sensational! That's stunning! Dexter puts Espada back in this game. That is so dirty.
To ramp things up, isn't it? Look at him go. That second shot was tasty as anything. That double spray down from Poyer was pretty nasty too, but look at this. First kill on the player further back towards long. Second flick on Poyer up close and personal. 22 HP is all that was within it. Absolutely coming down to the wire, but Espada, he will get the round off the back of that, and a huge boon for their second half as it puts them to 4. One step closer to the victory they need.
They just got bonked. 1 minute 30 on the board early in this 13th round. Another one that Espada needs to take. It's back to the B site apparently. And there's a triple defense holding. It feels like Hardview always has that number advantage. It's Poya this time to find the double. That evens things up, and it's down to Hazing. We don't see him miss shots commonly. Hidji, that flashbang might have been a little too late. And now a 2 versus 3 dilemma. Do they go for this? I think they'll probably peek and poke for that opening frag. If they don't find it, maybe just back away with that AWP, which they desperately need. The money is absolutely crushed. This could still be a 6-7 round half for Espada. And you see them hightail the way out of this B-bomb site. They don't want to give away these rifles. They can't afford to. They've got a total of about $1,500 in their bank accounts. That's collectively. That's not even enough to go on holiday to Malaga. It's 8-5.
This is perfect though. This is what Espada need now. Keep these rounds rolling. This will get them massively into the second half. Without these rounds, it was pretty much a write-off. So, crucial time to come alive here. Thanks to the pistols, I think they've got their 6th as well. So to them, this is all of a sudden becoming the perfect half. And it's funny how things can change so quickly, isn't it? You can go from Espada being absolutely wrecked to a couple of good rounds, and all of a sudden things are looking a little bit more serious as they go immediately for the boost play again. But Dexter struggling to land, it seems.
Yeah, when you fail to land that boost, it deprives you of so much map control. You see Finnegan wanting to go towards this A side and deprive Hazing of that map control. He's in connector nonetheless. So, no one spotted early. And that's just because Hard For You have been playing aggressive. They've not been peeking these angles because they've just been outright pushing them. Hazing is so up close and personal. The Deagle's the best weapon to have, or at least the best pistol to have, and that's exactly why. There's a little bit of RNG there, whether the rifle falls down into his hands or not. It doesn't this time. He's stuck with the Deagle, but I think he's going to be more than comfortable with it. Ooh. Some nasty shots to shut down the numbers. And that might not be all she wrote for Hidji, because he's doing more and more damage. It's a no-scope to finish. A perfect play. I just love these shots. Ooh, that second one's so quick. Just a hypercut of frags on the A-bomb site for Hidji. 9-5 as a result.
Still a real chance at the 6th, though. That's the big thing for me here, is Espada getting 6 would be a miracle compared to what we first saw at the start of this half. So, a crucial 15th round to decide really what's possible, I suppose, as already Koshak caught on the peak there, just looking for information. We'll get the info, but at a pretty high price, I think it's fair to say. Losing his life within just a blink of an eye. Should have spotted the cluster of 4 or 5 players that were all in tunnels, though. So that will prompt all of these rotations to come in towards his B site, leaving only a bit of aggression towards A just to check long. Of course, so much time left in the round that anything could happen, so Havu, by no means wanting to overextend, rather just make sure they're aware of where Esport do end up relocating to. If it's long, they want to know about it so they can especially act accordingly, as 4 players lined up on A long right now could be a little interesting for Jose.
Clock ticking down to the 40-second mark. Esport have to get their Nikes on. There goes another smoke grenade just to create that stalemate on the A bomb site. Hiji actually gets aggressive through this. With an AWP, that's a risky play. He's not going to be the one awaiting the push. It'll be on this B bomb site. Clock down to 20. Hazing's got this angle, and it's mainly for intel. He gets slammed for it. Poya's MP9 looks very vulnerable, and that's the B site. As good as gone. The C4 can go down in a way. It's actually in the open. This lays a mass possibility. That kill might just do everything, Flakes. That's disgusting. How have Hard4U won this round?
No words to describe that. That's absolutely ridiculous. It really is.
Redonkulous. 10-5. And all off the back of that. Esport, they get timed out. Look at that half from Dexter. 16-8. Most of those kills came in the first 5 or 6 rounds. With Hard4U, it's a much more even approach. 4 of their players up and above double digits here on that CT side. Exactly what you want to see. Remember, Flakes, this game is not over. We did say that Esport, they needed 5 or 6. They've reached 5, the lower bounds of that threshold. And a pistol round's going to be very important here. They've been winning most of them. This is one that they have to take over the top. Otherwise, it'll be 11, 12, maybe even more rounds for Hard4U. Maybe everything relying on a couple of deagles in round number 17. That's never the position you want to be in. It's all about shutting away this push. This would be a decent bit of map control for Esport. You see Dima just poking for that aggression towards the A-bomb site. He pretty much knows that this is going to be a bit B push at this point, but they're not hitting the frags anyway. This is all falling to pieces. Patsy knocks one in as a response. All of the defenders are here, so evening up the numbers ever so slightly, but still a 1 versus 3. This is not a great position, to say the least. It's going to be 11-5 more than likely here. I love that early plant. That applies so much more pressure. The only way that Hard4U can possibly lose this round is by going for single peaks, by completely misjudging and misplaying this scenario. Oh, they do get isolated initially. That's an opportunity. He knows now where both of these T's are holding from. Just trying to tap away. He's now running out of bullets. There's only 2 in the barrel. He runs out, and Hazing's able to punish. I lig that bait play from Hard4U.
It's a shame, actually, because if he kept track of his ammo there might have actually been an opportunity. If he could get that first kill, he'd have to get a pretty big flick up onto heaven, but good opportunity. Just always a good lesson there, I think. You always, especially on a pistol round, but definitely applies it all the time, but pistols most importantly. Keep track of what's left in the chamber. That reload almost certainly means guaranteed death.
$11-5. Hard4U. This is a mirror image of that first map where Esport really just crunched down on both the attack and the defense. Hard4U looks like a very similar scene, and this is that nightmarish situation that I was talking about earlier, Flakes, where Esport, it all really relies on a couple of deagles here and there, an MP9 and Scout. Luckily a first frag, but they're going to need more than openings in Poya. That was a blind shot right through the smoke. Luckily, there's no guesswork required. We can actually see that in the kill feed nowadays. That's beautiful. And with the bomb spotted, Esport, it all comes down to the kills. Poya, he's still alive. That's 3 for him. He's single-handedly closing down these numbers. There's still a scout to deal with to perhaps sneak around. Backtracking is still an option against these two weapons.
$40, so a good chunk of time to work with as well. This allows Havu to really just think about sneaking up on towards B and making absolutely no noise anywhere at all. Just to maximize the surprise they can have. I love this as well, but Azane deep into that rotation spot, just catching the likes of Dexter as he comes in. This could be huge. Nothing, he has absolutely no idea. There's literally nothing he can do from that position.
He has no idea it's coming. It's a massive surprise. Just like that headshot. He knows exactly where Hazing is. But with time being of the essence, Hazing, he's gambled the fact that Dima doesn't have the defuse kit. And he hits the headshot anyway. 12-5. Hard for you, just 4 away. And as I said before, this is a complete mirror image of that first map. Nothing really could be different. Looking like a proper scrap. As we have Nuke as our third and final map. It looks like we might be needing it as the decider for this one. Remember, that's not all of the Counter-Strike done. This is only the first of 2 best-of-3s of the day, with what I might think is our star match coming up after Havu versus Gambit youngsters. I think that's a really exciting one. We'll be getting onto that later on, but for the time being, Hard U overpowering this defense for the third time. They're going to walk into a clean, squeaky A-bomb site. This will be an instant C4. Well, it would have been an instant C4 plant if it hadn't have been left in T-spawn. But with all of this map control, it's a complete lockdown. It's more lockdown in the UK. And there's a minute, 10 seconds to farm these pistols, get this cash with the Mac 10. Easy enough round.
I love how they've taken the A side, now they're just going to go take B as well, just to make the money. Talk about dominance. That's when you know you're dominating, when you take both sides. Because why just have one?
That's the millionaire mentality, Flakes. You've got to have that little side cottage in Cornwall. This time, that's the B-bomb site. This has just been so one-sided. Do you even see a way for a spatter back into this one?
Honestly, not right now. 13-5, you pretty much... Heck, you're at your final opportunity to get back into it. This is it. This is the gun round that they have to do something, and... Well, they throw a very good nade. That was a slam dunk on Hidji, to be honest. 52 HP done, which is 1 frag grenade, but... That seems to be the most successful thing about their play so far, is some good utility, a couple of good rounds, but nothing sustainable, nothing that's going to help them win this match right now. At least on Overpass. First map, a much better affair, but perhaps this is where the aim-based play of Sparta kind of comes in. Mirage, they were able to do a lot more looser style of play. Overpass relied on a little bit more of a tactical foundation, and that just seems to not really be tested by the Havu at all. They're just winning them outright.
And even Hidji just stealing these kills away. He shouldn't really find Dexter in that scenario. It should be instantly found. But he's finding always seemingly one more than he deserves. And that's a symptom of a player who's just on fire right now. He's 12-10, so maybe just slightly set a light. With 35 seconds left, this could be crunch time for Hard for You on the A-bomb site. That C4 will sneak and slither in. Really needs a double spray away there. Stood away in the open. You can see the desperation starting to set in for the CTs. With 15 seconds left, Hard for You using every single second of this clock. The bomb finally starting to wrap inside They're not going to check towards Optimus and Sopvig. Oh, they need to take him away right here. 6 seconds left. That bomb will finally go away. And there's another fully blind shot. Finnegan, he doesn't prevent that C4 from going down. It's a 2v2 health advantage to Espada. Every opportunity that they can still give this one up and away. There's the smoke now dissipating on A. As Dima needs this kill right here, right now. They're going to tap the bomb to force that peak into fruition. They're going to find it, and they should really know where Poya's playing from. Over towards Long, they're not checking him. They should know that it's not Toilets, and that's a freebie, a headshot. Dima doesn't have a kit. Is there one on the bomb site? I'm not sure. He hasn't got enough time anyway. 14-5. Everything's going hard for you's way as they're tapping on Death's door on Overpass.
Surely there's no coming back from this now. 14-5, such a big gap between these two teams. It's looking like a dominant map too, and a third map that will have to act as the decider. And well, never has it been more literal. 2 decimating maps, both towards either team. The third map really is going to decide who is the better of the two, and who will take the win in this series.
Remember, this is Espada's map pick. We've had that update at this point. Hard for you picking Mirage, Espada Overpass, which really should be a more tactical map. Those slow crawls towards the bomb site. We saw a bit of a lack of tactics from Espada. In all fairness, during their first half, they didn't merit enough rounds to get that foothold going into their CT side and losing the pistol adds insult to injury. They've done a good job of getting enough buy rounds in to make some of these situations competitive, but it's just not enough against Hard For You, seemingly. You could see an even more one-sided scoreline here for the second map of the day. Completely just unpredictable. That flashbang is lovely, but it's only a 1-for-1 trade towards that side of the map as Ren, he's able to spray one away as well. 3 quick kills, 14-5. Everything going wrong. Espada might be finally mentally checking out of this second map. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, that's one word that sums it up right, just boom. Headshots galore. Not really that anything will happen here. I like how Ren's just chilling, throwing utility, even though he's got the bomb on his back.
15 seconds as well.
Do you really need to be baiting that out right now? Just go. You could just go plant the bomb. It could be a lot easier for all involved. This is actually now a winnable round because you've always overcomplicated it. You will get it down, but he's thinking heaven. He doesn't realise something's right next to it. If they just planted the bomb without trying to get extra fancy, that was a little bit of a thrown round. Gotta be honest.
Yeah, they totally overthought that situation. As you said, 1 versus 3. That's pretty much, well, it is map point right there. If they find it, they've still got enough money. It's not a massively heartbreaking scenario, but if that is the catalyst which spurs on Espada to get onto 10, 11 rounds, then maybe they've got a chance in this second map. It's been very one-sided so far, but Espada definitely have the firepower to turn the tides, especially as Dexter has that AWP in hand. We'll probably see him reach for an aggressive opening frag. See that classic orb smoke go down. He'll be just peering right over the top of it. The counter flash just to force him away. And well, there's the Deagle to take him out of the equation. He gets traded, but that's not good enough for Espada. The problem is that AWP is very retrievable. It's all the way out in the open. They've got smokes to cover. No Espada member in sight. And Ren, oh, he does get spotted, so that changes matters. But still 14-6, still a 3v4.
Not a huge amount of time to work with. Half of you will have to make some advances here sooner rather than later. Softly decides to push up and take the fight to Koshak. That proves to be a bit of a double-edged sword. He gives up the frag. Still, though, no control found off the back of that Havu, only grouping up outside of A. Now, with the smoke set up here, this would make for a pretty good A take, especially with the molly coming down towards the back area of truck. So it's a good take, but now they have to win the fight. With Dio and Patty both finding those jewels, things go from bad to worse. Leaves Poria all on his lonesome to try and force the issue, and that's where Finnegan comes into action. Long range with the Famous to push it over the line. Espada starting to claw their way back into this now.
Still not the most interesting maps, only 14-7. They need to take maybe 4 or 5 more before things start to get spicy. See what they're made of as we go into the business half of this second map. Round number 22. Just pistols on hard for you. This should be a shutdown in all fairness.
Yeah, it should really be an easy 8th. Nothing to be thinking about here for Espada apart from keep it clean, don't lose anything. At the end of the day, they're the team on the comeback right now. They are clawing these rounds back into the game. So for them, just keeping it clean and building up the money is going to be the most important thing here. Not allowing frags like that to slip through the cracks, as they do add up over time. You see, it may costly, even for just a bunch of pistols. Losing 2 players, nearly a third there. Far from ideal.
Yeah, and it's a couple of nice shots to bail their way out. 14-8, scoreline tightening. Another gun round on the cards on this T side. Espada, this is the real test, the challenge. I really did like that double nade that Espada had been commonly throwing down into playground earlier. I'm surprised to not see that rear its head as we get further into this game. With that smoke, it gives Finnegan a good vantage point out towards T-Water. Not to be found nonetheless. You see Espada just hunting for this opening frag. That's exactly when they're likely to get punished. Overpass is always this awkward scenario, this handshake where you're agreeing not to play overwhelmingly aggressive. Sometimes that gets thrown completely out of the window. Haven't necessarily seen that this map. Hard for you played quite a regimented, standard CT side. You see, even when Hazing gets completely caught off guard, he's still able to do decent damage. 80 HP taken away from Patsy there. He's forced onto the AWP instead of any of his heavy health teammates.
One good flash draw is long right now, and you could be seeing the end of the round. I said it. There it comes. The smart thing, though, is Hiji, he's playing anti-flash. Just tucked in behind the walls, if the flash was thrown, he can slip out with the AWP and secure the trade frag, which is the smart decision from him. Works really nicely. And Patsy, given the AWP, and credit to him, putting it to good use. 3 kills, lock and key as his teammate then turns over for 1 more.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just 1 hit and your money is safe. So go to LootBet to cash out now.
Just pistols once more now for the hard for you side. All the way back to by utility at least, a bit of Kevlar and whatnot, so not all bad, but that said, Espada very close here to double digits. This could be really turning into something now if hard for you aren't careful. You've got to remember that 2-0 on the line, the CT side is looking pretty meaty. Hard for you really have to get it together sooner rather than later, as they're going to run out of rounds.
Yeah, they've still got a tiny bit of breathing room, but it starts to get inside your head at this point. Espada, CT side of Overpass, they've really got what it takes to take the next 6 out of 7 to force us to OT. 7 out of 7 perhaps, to take it in massive fashion, in regulation. Anything's possible, especially when you're staring down the barrel of one of the favorite teams here in the Swiss system. I think that sometimes Espada, especially when they're outmatched, they sometimes slow down. They don't play their same style. Hard for you, even with this massive lead, aren't forcing Espada to do anything too dodgy. We saw a little bit of aggression earlier get punished by the Deagles, but apart from that, it's been fairly flawless in the last 5 or 6. And Espada, there's that nade again, Flakes.
Those are the little things that you can't help but like. It's that little bit of damage every round. It does add up. It really does.
And it's Hidji every single time. That's going to start to get inside his head. Like, how am I starting every single round with 50, 60, 70 HP? It's frustrating. Just like that. That opening that Solvig had no idea about. Should have been fully telegraphed, and now hard for you. They're going to make the burst behind it. Patsy needs way more than this. He was on so little HP, and Ren's able to take control. That's the whole of the A-bomb site gone. The nade's not going to connect. And the clock starts ticking on this defuse. There is very little option and opportunity to get the job done. Both of the HEs wasted. They flail towards Optimus. As now, it's the brutal fragging power of these M4s and AK that needs to come into effect. Ren is very low, and there's the smoke down. This might just be a quick defuse. The site is submerged by the smokes, but right through it. It's a double out of absolutely nowhere. Lining it up perfectly. Dexter's right on that bomb. He's no longer got enough time for the defuse. Even with both of these frags, it's going to explode. And that's 14 to 10. That double spray down right through the clouds, completely blind, was able to, well, completely wreck the retake. We'll surely see it again. Look at this angle. It's hazing once more. Such a wild spray away.
Pretty nuts round overall, has to be said, but it puts Altitude 50 and it just shows where Espada could be if they were to do more on their first half. But 1 or 2 rounds, 1 or 2 little mistakes, it's tough not to have them, even on a comeback. So, unfortunate situation, but reality now is that, well, they can afford no more. 1 more mistake and 16-10 it'll be. And we've already seen 2 come through. This is looking like a bit of a disaster. Sopvik can crush towards B. I think the momentum is gone. Espada have lost everything towards this site right now. Patsy and Dexter, the last 2 that remain. 4 players to find, 35 seconds on the clock. I think this might well just be the end. Especially with the Mach 10 being boosted up as well. There is no way Dexter can win this fight now. That Mach 10 will chew him up. That's that. 16 to 10. Third map is going to be the case. We'll have to wait and see how that one will play out after what was feeling like it could have been the Sparta game, but it simply didn't grind out enough in the first half. Let too many fall off. Made too many mistakes, and it all added up to this. 16 to 10 for hard for you. The third map, folks, right around the corner. Come back in just a few minutes' time for that.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to LootBet to cash out now.
Can't stay still, don't stop that thrill. My bones crave your skin, temptation within, mistakes ignite the silence. Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Yeah. Set my heart
I get lost inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the tunnel closer starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep, I bleed. I fell so fast from heaven, it's like someone clipped my wings. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say goodbye. Sleepless nights, I laid awake just begging to let go. I almost got to suicidal thoughts, but you stepped in. An angel sent from heaven showed me how to live again. Now I'm falling, and I can't see the ground. Can we stop this gravity? It keeps bringing me down. I can't breathe, and I don't wanna die. Can we stop this gravity? 'Cause I don't wanna say voice and trying to swallow me. Stories are full, but I need a call. I pray I don't get the crowd. Gravity. Gravity.
I'm falling. Tell me why I'm falling. Oh, life's calling, but it's hard because I'm falling. I'm falling. Tell me why I'm falling. Oh, life's calling, but it's hard because I'm falling. Falling, 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 started to fall, and where were you? How could I know you were falling too? Grabbing the wind, cutting my skin, but it's hard because I'm falling. Tell me why I'm falling. Oh, life's calling, but it's hard because I'm falling. Falling, 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 falling,
into a pond. Ripples fade away. Human hearts aren't so lucky. Lost battle scars remain. Oh, I can't let go of the one thing I wanted most. I'm chasing echoes, echoes of your voice. Can't let go of the one thing I wanted most. I'm chasing echoes, echoes of your voice. La 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 la. La 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 la.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to LootBet to cash out now.
Welcome back, folks, to the third and final map in our best of three, Espada versus Hard for You. It's got the full distance and has arrived on Nuke. Squid, what are you thinking about this one? Because it's been a bit of a mess, to be honest, to both sides. We've seen pretty decisive rolls whipped out through map 1 and map 2. Neither team really having much of a battle, it seems.
I'm thinking a lot of not a lot right now. I don't really know what to think, which basically you could make a hypercut of me just saying that I don't know what to say and don't know.
You're just trying to avoid predictions. We've established yesterday after
is,
your prediction of, oh, they're 1,000% going to win this 2-0. Little did we know.
Yeah. So that's a shame. I feel like I do have the ultimate curse. I'm going to make prediction, Flakes. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Espada are going to win this series. There you go. Thank you very much, everybody. That's my job done. I'll see you next time.
Big news right there. Big news. To be honest, though, I can see where you're coming from, and I do have to agree. I think Espada generally have had the edge here. It just feels like Hard for You were showing up a little bit towards the tail end of Overpass, and generally they were a bit more well held together, but also, if Espada had more rounds to work with, I think you look at a 2-0 here. I think the problem for them was they simply dropped the ball too early on in that first half, let too many rounds fall out of their way.
Hard for You's rotates were completely on point. Espada find themselves walking into the blender so many times, especially early on that B bomb site. 3 times in a row, they were walking into a 4-man defense. As soon as they switch it up to A, they walk into a 3-man defense. There's just no way to get away from this CT side, Flakes. Hard for You, they've won that knife round again, so they get to start on that favorable side, and on Nuke, it is a favorable side. Espada, if they can find 5-6 rounds, I think they're going to be happy about that. Of course, Nuke a little bit closer nowadays. But can we really see with the speedy rotates and what we just saw on Overpass, Hard for You are going to be completely locked out of this one? I don't know. I think we've got to watch the Counter-Strike to find out. Interesting stuff from Espada. They've got the pair of Molotovs and a couple of smokes. This is usually for this outside cross. You can also use it on this A bomb site, especially with the Molotovs for Hut. For Heaven, perhaps. You won't be wanting to keep many of these nades for the late game, for this late round position. The kills are coming through for Espada. This might be another pistol round for them, but again, they're walking into somewhat of a stack. There go the headshots, and Ren, pretty much the last player alive on this site, and what a headshot to just pluck Sopvig out of the air. Clay pigeon shooting on A, as Hazing has to do it all in the pistol, and he misses his marker against Dexter. 1-0 Espada. They can breathe a sigh of relief. That's a massive pistol round. Look at that shot again.
It's the perfect start. Exactly what we expected to see as well. Espada on their T side. Getting it done early on. Now they just have to keep rolling with the punches. Get that second, third round and start linking it all together. It seems like it's going pretty well too. Obviously, Hard for You deciding not to reinvest into this one. Pretty standard, to be honest.
Slamming round. 2-0. Espada, as quick and decisive as it gets there. That's going to build that cash up. They'll probably just go for a bonus in this third of the half. Remember, they've only got those SMGs in hand. And with so much cash, they don't even really care about losing this one. That would get them a buy round in the next. Regardless, everybody's going to be at least up to the $4,500 mark on Espada, or even if they lose it, if they win, They're going to be in such a great takeoff point for this half. Of course, Hardview aren't going to have a lot of cash. They've still got to rely on Hiji missing a couple of shots here. Still hazing, just trying to pick them apart through that blooming smoke. And it's only the 1-2 trade. With the SMGs, you can't really criticize too much. They've only warranted a FAMAS pickup as well. You see Hard for You just responding into these passive positions. Koshak ready and waiting for anybody. I'd love for him to get a little view of the ladder, just to make sure they're not going up towards heaven, but nonetheless, he gets taken out.
Ooh, Poria. Good position, actually, here to let rip towards heaven. So far, so good. Not only one kill, but a second soon to follow. The Flames will push him out, though, but that's where Ren then swings into action, filling Poria's gap as he flies out of hut, finds the bomb planter, and also lights up Patsy as well. Nothing he really could have done there, unfortunately. Just too many players to handle, it seems.
Yeah, that's an absolutely must-win round for that CT side. If Espada lose it, as I said, they don't really mind. It's a bonus. It's a cherry on top. It's a gimme. 2-1. They've got that slight lead, and this is where they want to extend it. Dexter with that all-important AWP. Hiji obviously matching him. He was playing over by ramp that previous round. Very key position. Key, not necessarily to get the kills, just to stay alive for as long as possible. You're thinking the cogs turn in the way of staying alive, delaying for as much time as possible, slowing that push potentially to the B bomb site for as long as needed to get those rotates into place. This time, Hardview have the slightly weaker buy with Koshak on that UMP. This shouldn't be massively problematic going into this one, though. Remember, fairly CT-sided map, and it's Espada to try and break the serve here in round 4.
Patience proving to be the key thing here, to be honest. For Espada right now, just taking it nice and slow, building up into this A-Rap from outside. Got Demon coming in from door as well, but they do need the utility to get on the site here to deal with the likes of Heaven, trade Koshak up close. All this back and forth makes it very uncomfortable to find these rounds. 27 seconds left, and your trades have left you in a 1 versus 1, AWP versus rifle. Really hoping Dexter decides to grab the AK. And from there, worry about what he's going to do with the bomb on his back. 15 seconds remain, drop the B, get the safe plant. That's the way to go about it. And Ren, he's going to know what's going on, of course, but this is fine for Dexter, because he gets the plant and can think about an after plant position as well if he wants it. Shutting the door. Ren has to think about, is he inside or outside? That is the question. Checks it, realizes he is in fact not there, and, well, now, just opens it up, peekaboo. Job done.
Dexter's such a smarty pants. Obviously, that rotate down to the B bomb site is hyper intelligent. Loses the 1v1 Angel. There's no guarantee, even with that C4 down, of course, that you're going to win the round. You're just massively heightening your chances. If he goes towards A there and sticks, he has no idea whether the opposition's towards heaven. Still in garage to punish. There's a 50-50 chance on that plant that he just gets absolutely wrecked. Even planting outside of the bomb site leaves you very vulnerable to heaven. There's not a lot of safe spaces there on the A bomb site when you don't know where your opponent's actually playing from. So a good attempt, but not going to merit the results. 2-2 as a scoreline. Hard for you. It's an okay start, but any loss here, with these rounds cutting so close, is going to force them directly into the eco territory. They'll be stuck with a potential force buy, and that sucks. Patsy, he finds the first. Hiji, he's going to overswing here. He's got Ren in support. That's going to divert the attention. And Espada don't get away with murder over by the ramp.
Sparta are trying this A burst quite a few times now, and I just can't help but feel like it's not really working for them. Even the rounds where they've got close to getting a bomb plant or it's got to a 1v1, it's been very scrappy. Maybe time just to drop it, to be honest, and try something different, because it just doesn't seem to be a consistent source of success for them, to be honest.
Messy scenario. And back to pistols. Exactly where we said that Hard For You would have been if they had lost that round. This one, well, that previous one, effectively worth 2. There's not really an opportunity for a Sparta to roll right over the top without hitting some sensational opening 1Ds. That was really the opportunity, with Hiji missing that opener shot. Really, yeah, closes and shuts down the A-bomb site. As soon as those CTs can respond into their standard default set positions, makes things so much harder. The most effective thing about an A-rush here on Nuke are those early engagements, catching CTs out of position, but finding these kills anyway, and now Poya's going to be challenged. Luckily, a lot of these players are unarmored. He's got Patsy to deal with, who also drops down. And Dexter, the player with that AK-47, doesn't have Kevlar, so this becomes almost impossible. The bomb is a million miles away. He's got time, that's his only saving grace. But this is almost impossible right now. He's trying to catch one of these players off guard. Maybe there's somebody sat between forklift. Apparently not. Maybe they're going to expose a head towards heaven. I think maybe even the best case scenario. The clock is ticked down 30 seconds already. There's an AWP right outside of hell. There's an opportunity for Dexter to just run and save, but he's within the audio queue of Ren, so he's going to have to hit at least one shot to get out of this situation alive. Is he going for this AWP? That's the question. No, Poya is instead. And there goes the sniper rifle. Good save here. Hard For You creeping close and hazing. It's a one tap to take him away.
Sparta really needs something new here on the D side. It just has to be said. The only thing they've tried so far is this sort of outside into a wrap, and there's just nothing's come of it. This time, trying to do a secret rush, they do take one loss very early on, but they also get full secret control. Getting out onto B though, completely different story. It feels like Hard For You have almost read them like a book here. The rotations are down at the site before Sparta have even got there. Perfect reads means a great defense. Looks like the kills are going to roll on through for Sparta anyway, though, just forcing the duels. And ultimately finding the headshots, leaves one player remaining. There's 3 kills down on B. Poria in from door will try and do some work, and well, he's done a great job. Got himself at least one for his troubles, but the 2 smokes there, can't see a thing. We should be seeing the plant come through any second now. There you go. Dima and Finnegan just thinking about how they can hold on now to both these players' ramp. They should know they're both there. They have peeked them after all. Perhaps just not communicating very well, as Finnegan shouldn't really have to worry about door right now.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to LootBet to cash out now.
Good round in all effect. Sparta back on the scorecard. That's their 3rd. And are we about to see that fast opening from Sotvik, you saw that he got the favorable spawn, so he takes the AWP and sends it right towards Squeaky Door. Hard for you, without a lot of cash, could have very easily been stood out in the open, and here come those openings. This is why, on Nuke, especially having pistols is a massive disadvantage. Ren's going to pull one back in the meantime, and this round's still up in the air, especially with the Deagle high in the sky. And Foya only really needs a couple more taps to make this round double, and Ren, he is stuck here. Down inside events, of course, without the actual vent popped open, he has to make so much noise before he gets onto the A-bomb site. I'd have loved to see him peer up towards ladder, especially with Finnegan on such little HP. If he finds Sotvig, even if it's a gamble, a ladder shot, then that gives him a chance, at least in this round. You can't blame him for not wanting to walk into the Hornet's nest of that A-bomb site in a 1 versus 3. Saving that M4, the lion's share of the time, is going to be the better deal. Never a friendly scenario walking into Espada's 1v3s. They're so good at retake scenarios when the numbers are even. Just can't see them making that sort of catastrophic mistake to pull this one back and away. And Espada, they are getting more than enough rounds, the rounds that they really need.
It's just a classic case of grinding out what they can in the first half, ultimately, for Espada on their T side. The more they can find, the better they're going to do in that second half. After all, Nuke, very similar to Overpass in that regard, where it is just about maximizing your T half. Back to the A play though, and last time this A play was a complete travesty, so I'm really hoping that's them just setting up for maybe looking for a pick or two, but not committing to this A split again. Sotvik pushing ramp tells me that likely is going to be the case. They'll look for something different, maybe play ramp 2 towards B, but with no secret presence at all. This is just a classic 5-man rush, and again, half of you are perfectly in position to deal with. The upside is that so many pistols in play, obviously, due to the money for half of you, means that it's going to be a bit tough for them to hold on. They will just crush them down together. Seems like the USPs won't be able to sneak in for anything at all. As Espada take the lead, 5-4.
Espada to hard for you feels like when I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see an MMA fighter stroking a cat, and everybody else is like, oh, look at that cute cat. And all I think is, dude, that MMA fighter could destroy that cat.
Is that really what you think about when you look at a cute cat?
Yeah.
You got some weird imagination, man. Just gonna put that out there. That's not right. Wow. Well, I don't know how to quite run with that. So we'll just look forward. Spada.
This
couple
is why
kills
I
in the
should be
back.
looking through Instagram while casting, Flakes.
Yeah. No, you've got to.
Out the question.
That is something else entirely. Well, on the upside, Espada got a bomb plant for their troubles, and now have the site with a pretty comfortable lead in manpower too. Half of you deciding, screw that, we'll get a save. Espada 6 rounds, T-side nuke. Really looking good.
Yeah, this is a sensational start. There's just no way back into this bomb site, of course, with 15 seconds left for hard for you. They don't even make a foul swoop at it. They obviously want to keep these rifles alive. That's the most important facet at the end of this round. And well, Patsy's going to just destroy Hazing in that scenario. 6-4 to close things up. Espada just doing a great job. It feels like they're finding the picks when they really matter. Hard for you, having a little bit of play, taking a couple of those gun rounds. That is the worst case scenario in Nuke in a nutshell, though. Your money is really struggling. You're losing all of the key important rounds. I would say that so far this game, we've had 3 make or break rounds. Espada, they've won 2 of them, and they've got pistols, or they've won eco rounds off the back of both. Whereas Hard for you have done that half as much, I should say. 1 minute 40 in this one, early in round number 11. The Deagle just trying to pepper shots through. Inflex, we're talking about those outer side smokes being shaky by many teams. It's actually my pet peeve in Counter-Strike, seeing those outside smokes misplaced. I see it happen so often. All you've got to do is get into a practice server, and it's all too easy to line them up with a little bit of practice. In this game, I don't think you'll be seeing those mistakes, especially from a Spada whose fundamentals of Counter-Strike are so locked in and so solid. You see, every decision is thoroughly thought about. Dexter wants to be in a prime position before he smashes that window, knowing that if anybody's on the receiving end, they're going to be ready and waiting. That Sankyu's going to completely give his position away. They are once again walking into the bear trap of this A bomb site, but that is a massive kill to miss. Koshak now needs to go absolutely massive with this Deagle. Or Hiji needs to do something as well. Somebody needs to make a play, and it might even be Poiria's job. He's got P250 in hand, a good position. But I think he might have just been timed out in this situation. He gets tagged away, nailed, and that nade's going to do absolutely nothing. Hiji back to the AK-47, walks right into Dexter, and there is just nothing to be done about this one. Poya, oh, he does save the AK, so almost the jackpot in that situation. But still nothing to rant and rave about. 7-4. Very one-sided. And finally, a Squid prediction seems to be coming true. That is something that's happened for the first time this tournament. Spada are winning all of these clutches. The only time that I can remember, Hard Legion coming out on top, not Hard Legion, of course, Hard for You. Hard Legion yesterday. They went 1-0 in this Swiss system. Hard for You. I think they've only won a single clutch scenario. It's that 1v1 down on the B bomb site with Dexter. 15 seconds left. Was able to respond and get a bomb down. That was really the best case scenario. At one point, it looked like he could have even won the round. Missed timing there, and Sotvig's down to secret. Still a bit of difficulty. I love that tap. Hazing's obviously giving his position away, especially with those shots. And oh, there's the nade to rebound. Lovely stuff. And it does all come down to who finds the openings. This time it's Ran. Remember, with Dexter on such little HP, might crack this open like dropped eggs. Someone's got to make the play here for Spada. They have to breach into, well, at least one of these bomb sites, of course. Fundamentals of Counter-Strike. And it might be Hazing to give away the ghost. He's such low HP, and
it feels like he knows. He's ready and waiting for this door, isn't he? The perfect timing and positioning from there up and above, just waiting for the door plate. Look how low he got Finnegan through the smoke. Oh my goodness. 1 HP. 1 HP. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Half for You just demolishing a Spada as they attempt to vent rush their way to success. Nothing to come of it. It'll be just Dexter that remains. 4 HP and a dream. Not much more going to come from this, I'm sure. That is ridiculous, honestly.
And you see the impact that Hazing has on that round. He gets knocked down to 28 HP in the first couple of seconds. He's still able to do almost 300 damage. That is such monumental impact. Much needed impact at this point. 5-7. We see the economy struggle slightly. Koshak only a scout. They can't have misread the economy here. Of course, with Spada, they've got plenty of cash. So they're not expecting unarmored opponent, surely. Maybe that's just all he could afford, all he wanted to go for. They really wanted that double AWP setup and they could only afford a fake AWP.
You just describe a scout as a fake AWP.
Yeah, when it looks the same in the box, you buy it, it just doesn't have enough punching power. It's the BB gun AWP.
That's one way to describe it, I suppose. Yeah, so far so good. It tied Finnegan early on, so has to be some level of success here. Oh, Koshak is just a bit confused there. He's running around the corner and all of a sudden, oh, there's a terrorist here. Not quite what he was expecting, I think.
Very messy round from Hard For You. Not what we're used to seeing from them. The Spider up to 8. This is way too many rounds on the T side of Nuke. 6 or 7, that's manageable with the pistol into your second half, especially if you can get that momentum under your wings. But Hard For You, if they give away any more, I think 8 is already too much, but 9 or 10, even with a pistol at that point, becomes incredibly unmanageable. Even if this finishes the best case scenario for them, 7 to 8, then even with a pistol round on top, I still think that Espada have a lead going into that second half. Is it completely done? Is this game finished? No, of course not. It's map number 3. Pressure's going to start setting in, but really, even when Espada have had close games, when they've been slightly behind in every single scenario, have we really seen them under pressure? Not really. They seem to be very confident, calm, not complacent.
Eagles just spamming away here, and dare I say it, this is actually working. The pistol success for Hard For You coming out on top, as it will net them 6 rounds, so despite Sparta sneaking in for a half victory, at least Hard For You able to claim some success back here. Final opportunity now for Hard For You to sneak in for a 7th round, and well, they've already done a good chunk of damage here, spreading out on the likes of Patsy, Finnegan, Sopvik, all 20, 30, 40 HP, shorter than what they hoped as the smoke fades, the light forms, and the Sparta forced to trade 1 for 1 yet again, as they do try to get down onto that B side. Dexter waiting to catch some of these rotates already, in a good position here to do just that, Hazing moments behind the metal railing. And then she peeks into the spotlight. Becomes an easy frag for Dexter to find. As Ren then gets smoked off. He just has to sit tight with his teammate and pretty much wait at this point.
2 versus 3 scenario. And look at both of those smokes. That's going to delay so much time off this clock. I love the double smoke play. There are still 4 flashes in hand, but I don't think the Sparta will even need them. They're going to go for the double peek and find it anyway. I've got to say, Flakes, I'm so impressed with Dexter. He's had a great series. He's actually 15 to 8 right now. On the T side of Nuke, if you're looking at that scoreline from Hard For You's perspective, that's not, they're not pretty numbers. And he's just been so good all series. Dexter seems to be the one player on Espada who kind of takes everybody under their wing and says, hey, I'm going to find the openings. I'm going to close down a lot of these rounds. I'm going to make the intelligent play to get us back into this one. He seems to be the man taking a lot of initiative. And it's definitely showing in terms of the scores.
quite a surprising half, all things considered. Getting so many in your T half is pretty successful, to be honest. Let's just hope they've got some skin in the game now on their CT side.
Yeah, even with a hard for you pistol round victory here in this second half, I just don't see it. Even if they can get up to that 8-9, 9-9, as soon as Espada merit those rifles, we saw it earlier on Mirage, feels like hours ago. It was hours ago at this point, where they were able to find that 10 round CT side. It was hard for you, but their own 10 round CT side on Overpass. And Nuke just looks like an impenetrable fortress. At times, it didn't look as such just then. But with this third and final map still on the cards, we see that those dual Berettas, they're definitely going towards Huts. There we go.
This is where Dima gets to have a good time, or not. He's going to get one tapped by a drive-by Glock. That's what you hate to see. However, you using this now, just a hold W and sprint to the B site. This should be an easy plant, and from there, well, they just continue to chase Patsy and his Julie. He's only good for one as he's immediately traded. Zing keeps the train rolling. In fact, it's Poria who's just decided to rock a new tag. The Hazing Peak clan tag, of course. I think that accurately sums up this team. Of course, he is the key fragger, I think, fair to say, for help for you.
That accurately sums up my week. Something gotten rid of his pistol. No, he has got it in hand, but I think Hard for You might have known about that one. You saw the Molotov drop, it was still in hand. Hard for You really wanted to win that pistol round. You saw how aggressive that flew as of that first kill coming in. Just an absolute bulldozer rolling over the ramp, paving the way towards that B bomb site. Easy pickings, 7-9.
Patsy. Gonna try and do some work close range with an Eagle. Sopvik climbing in for a second as well. Doesn't bode too well for this T side as the force up from Espada is just doing all the work. It's 1D left, right and centre. With the scout thrown in the mix. An AK found by Sopvik just to make it even better.
Again, an awkward round. Pair of AKs retrieved. The scout still in hand. Hidji needing an ace. Never going to happen considering the bomb is firmly in enemy territory. 3 AKs now. This is what you wake up at 2 AM in hot sweats about. Winning the pistol. CT side of Nuke then climbing back with that second round. Slapping back with that second round. In very convincing fashion. Sopvik doing a lot of work. Good to see him putting kills on the board, and Espada, they're right back in this. T-side of Nuke is just about getting that momentum, climbing into this half, keeping the CT economy low. It's going to be far from low at this point. They're not going to have to invest into 3 of the rifles that they ordinarily would have had to buy. Dima with another rifle on the floor. Dexter can retrieve that AWP. Give it to him. That's a great idea. He's been sensational with AWPs, AKs, M4s. He's been a jack of all trades and seemingly a master of all in this series. And wow, those odds reflecting. That is a terrible smoke. That's just about as badly as I've ever seen that smoke get thrown. They lose over 300 damage as a result of it. And the round is instantly over. There's the knife as well. Espada, they're having fun here on Nuke. Look at how badly this smoke is thrown, Flakes. You could fit a bus between that gap. And Patsy instead decides to fit a hell of a lot of bullets, all 30 firing through. So easily done. That is a symptom of a team who haven't been in the practice server. That needs to be a smoke that you throw correctly 100% of the time. 100%.
Now just gotta chew them up. Not really much else to say, is there? Just find the Glocks, shut them down. Jobs are good. The 12th round on the board, only one player remaining. As Poirier as Finnegan will quite happily find him with the AK, just shoulder peek after shoulder peek. A comfortable 12th round. Sparta close enough now to start really making a run for the finish line here. This might well be a record, Squid. You might actually get a prediction right.
It would be the first time in Counter-Strike history that that's happened. Made a lot of firsts this series. This was the first time that we saw Mirage in this tournament as well, funnily enough. I was so close to predicting hard for you as well. Maybe some still might. Nice opener from Koshak. That's important, especially down towards Secret, where you can get a good foothold on this B bomb site. There are still 2 defenders towards this side of the map. The rotate is completely on point. And Koshak needs another headshot. There we go. Finally even more, but they still haven't dealt with Finnegan. Neither this XM. It jumps straight through. And finally gets mollied off. Lovely smoke. Quick timing on it as well to just minimize the damage dealt. But both of these Ts know exactly where he should be playing. You see the coverage is right into place. They absolutely know. There's the nade. Doesn't do much damage. Now Finnegan. He's going to go for both of these kills. Almost finding it. 12-8. That does make your heart stop. Just a single beat this turn. He's dead on.
Interesting time for a pause. Wouldn't have actually expected hard for you to be the team that would go for them, to be honest. Nice to see them sort of changing it up. They're using it just to slow things down.
Look at how evenly distributed those entry frags on Espada are as well. 3 players up to that 3 entry kill marker. It's pretty good. In all fairness, hard for you almost at that point as well with a pair of 3s and a 2. So, lots of players stepping up here on the 3rd and final map. That's what you like to see. Right now, hard for you. I'd say that they're definitely down and out. 12-8 on your T side of Nuke is never a good place to be. This is when they need the rounds, and it might just not come with this lack of economy. Let's see what they've got in terms of a buy. Pick on the AKs. 1 Galil, and Hazen might be stuck on a Galil as well. Hasn't moved yet. There we go. The Galil, the smoke grenade, and full armor.
Koshak stuck between a rock and a hard place there. Those players to his left and to his right has to make a choice who to fight. Neither of which would have worked out for him. Feels like Espada are just a driving force right now, plowing their way through hard for you. Already a 2-man lead here. It's been barely, what, 20-30 seconds? this is looking pretty bleak. Every single duel they take is a duel they lose.
Every duel you take, every step you make, a Sparta will be watching you. Outside, you saw as soon as those 3 players came into fruition, Koshak had found the opening kill in the previous round, just not able to get the job done that time. Back to pistols, back to basics. Basically nothing to work with in round number 22. We'll likely see 14-8 on the cards here for a Sparta. It's been very one-sided since the start. Havu, a good map previously, but just unable to make the magic happen. Best of 3s, less of a sprint, more of a marathon. Over the course of a couple of hours, Csgo's going to come out on top. Look at all those missed shots. Havu not playing their own game. 14-8. This is a complete snake pit.
I think this may well be the end of the road for Havu. Not the greatest start to their group stage, unfortunately, but at least they're able to pick up a map or two. Already so much damage done. 10 seconds into the round, you can see that spread across the rear of their players. They did get a frag for their trouble, so not all bad, but about the only bit of success we've seen for Havu in the last couple of rounds, to be honest.
They've got to capitalize off it. This time it's Espada just chiming right back with not just a kill onto Ren, but massive damage onto Hiji. And now Poye, he finds a kill in the meantime. And the A bomb site has been taken, but where's the C4 flakes? It's nowhere to be found. These trades are coming in Espada's favor, and I don't think... I don't even know if this plan's going to come through. It does. It gives them a little bit of cash, but no opportunity to win the round. Dima up to 15. That spray says everything. 1 round away from victory here on Nuke. And in this best of 3.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just 1 hit and your money is safe. So go to LootBet to cash out now.
One more round. That is the case. Sparta looking to get this one over the line quick and easy here. Only 8 in play for Havu. Nice little pick from Hazy. Make it to 2nd as well. 2 perfect headshots. It's a much better start than any of the previous rounds, but unfortunately it's a wide swing from Dima to push him over the line. Gonna need the rest of his team to step up a little bit more now as well, as Koshak becomes a beast. 2 double kills on the A side, and we might have a round on our hands suddenly here. Dima dead to rights almost instantly.
Yeah, that's a massive step up. They're going to need a lot more than just 1 round if they're going to close this gap. They need another 6 on the trot. Koshak, it can't just be him. He's been a big player on this T side of Nuke, but he needs the likes of Hazing to step up. He needs Hiji's AWP to fire on all cylinders. They really need the entirety of this hard-to-use side to just start hitting kills left, right, and center. There's no other way on the T side of Nuke. It has to be that straight fragging power, likes the which we've not seen since that previous map, and Koshak instantly taken away by Dexter. That's an important first kill. There's a 2nd. This one falls apart on Nuke. It's going to be 16-9 flakes. Hard for you. They get completely smoked out of this bomb site. Ren versus 5. Let's see. Tries to hit a couple of kills as a consolation prize, but it's Espada taking the W in this one. A successful series. They take out the threat of Hard for You at the end of this one. Remember, guys, this isn't our only series for today. Make sure you see us back here on the main stream in
I wanna get it on tonight. I wanna
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to LootBet to cash out now.
Hello folks and welcome back to our next best of 3 of the day. It's Havu versus Gambit youngsters and we're here with more quality LootBet Season 7 action. The European event, of course, that features over 20 teams battling out for $50,000 on the line. Squid, if I gave you $50,000 right now, what would you spend it on?
I think it would be hookers, drugs. I don't know. I'd probably buy like a caravan or something. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, there they are on two different ends of the spectrum.
That's because I realised that my grandparents might be watching this, and they'd be just disgusted. They'd be like, "Why would he say this?" And then I'm like, "No.
Your innocence is
I
no
would
longer
buy. I
preserved.
would buy my grandparents a nice house. There you go.
Mm-hmm. For $50,000. I think you're.
Yeah, in Thailand, of course. Not in the UK.
I see. Well,
Definitely not hookers and drugs. Definitely not.
no, you're definitely too innocent for that. It seems we would never encourage such things, of course, on this broadcast. What we would encourage you to do, though, is to head on over to loot.bet, where you can, of course, use code MANGO to get yourself some extra treats, as well as the bonus code of the day. It is, of course, League. There are a bunch of extra things up for grabs, so do make sure you head on over to loot.bet to take advantage of all of the offers available.
I would blow 50 grand just so quickly. It would be so sad.
Wouldn't surprise me, actually. I reckon you could get through it in a night.
I
Based on what I've just heard off air about your experiences drinking things that may or may not be alcoholic, I reckon you could get through on a night out.
Yeah. The scary thing about going to a country like Spain is the drinks are so cheap. So you look at the menu and you're like, well, that 4-litre cocktail is only €14. It can't be that much. Like there's barely any alcohol in it. Now, an hour later, you're absolutely slammered. You're chucking up uncooked lamb. Lovely. Hope you're not eating your breakfast right now, folks, because this is our second series of the day.
What an introduction.
Gambit youngsters. Well, that is the perfect segue, right? That is the perfect segue. I mean, half of me wants to talk about the Counter-Strike, but 5 of the players still haven't joined the server, so I guess we can just talk more crap.
Yeah, it does appear that Gambit youngsters are nowhere to be seen.
Oh, they're not here.
They're just hiding. Looks like Shearer has rolled up. Inters is currently cloned himself 4 times over. He's gone to the Matrix.
Yes. I'm sure you're a fraud, Flakes. You've got way more drinking stories than me.
Don't know what you mean.
I've only got the frequency of my drinking stories are only so high because I drink so little. That means when I do drink, there's always a story.
That used to be the situation I was also in. But fun fact here, actually, I've only had a single glass of wine this year, which I think highlights the fact that I'm an upstanding adult.
I don't drink that much alcohol this year. Maybe a bottle of cider here and there. Don't think I've been drunk this year. But in coronavirus times, when the pubs are closed, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the easy excuse, isn't it?
No, absolutely. You know what? About this series, this is the one, despite the last being a 3-mapper, this is the one that I woke up for bright and early this morning. I'm actually excited about this. I think in terms of round 1 Swiss system matches, this is one of the best ones that you could possibly get. I didn't realize that there was a fart spray in the game. That is what it said.
The more you know.
In before it just says frag. Just exposes my weird brain.
I definitely want to go see that sticker now, just to be sure.
If I was observing this game, I'd be flying right to that sticker right now. People know that. If I'm observing the game, giving me an open GoTV feed is always a mistake.
That's exactly why they don't do it.
Looking at the little Michelin Man tires on the side, just trying to count the spokes. Just stupid stuff.
I tell you what is interesting about this game, though. When you look at both of these two teams, you quite literally could not be more evenly matched. Did you know that Havu are ranked 35 and Gambit youngsters are ranked 34 within the world?
I didn't do that. No, I didn't. But
You literally could not get a closer game.
Is that by you? Is that the Fantastic Flakes ranking?
That is the HLTV official ranking for you, right there.
Okay. A staple that seems to be commonly
Oh, it's by far the best ranking available. There are of course other rankings available that can be found through other third parties and so on, but The HLTV ranking is my personal favourite.
Wait, you don't think the Gosu Gamers ranking is the best ranking in Counter-Strike?
Maybe about 10 years ago.
Over the pistol round before I get fired. Here, Gambit youngsters starting on this CT side. Lots of nades, of course, with Supra and Nafani not picking up any Kevlar. Of course, Havu, similar scenes. That Molotov on Slowy. Double smoke, perhaps, for this mid to be execute.
Slowly going to take the aggressive duel down through mid here. Nafani, unfortunately, completely smoked off thanks to that fight being taken. Can't see a thing. I wonder if he's going to be able to communicate back as well that it, in fact, is a short push. It's all one big ruse. The B attention doesn't simply exist. Axel and his teammate will have to protect Elbow here as they do try and make their advances to the site. Nothing connecting. Finally, a headshot found at the scraps of the round as the trades come through thick and fast for the T side. Havu looking to start off strong here as they take a 4v3 lead with the bomb plant down on the site itself.
And this is where it starts to get interesting. If Gambit youngsters can find an entry or two onto this A bomb site, then it becomes incredibly spicy. You might see some Vindaloo counter-strike. Doto even gets taken down here. That is incredibly intelligent. He didn't telegraph his position one bit, and that slightly opens things up, but the time becomes a real issue. Only 10 seconds left on that bomb. These kills need to come through right now, and Hoodie's going to absolutely deny it. Lovely round by Havu on the A bomb site. I'm surprised that that flank gets found so quickly.
That's a really good round from Havu, though, to be able to close it down. Catching those rotators by surprise, I think, in mid there, just throwing the mid smoke, forcing the rotations over to B, only then to double back towards A short. Of course, Havu team to watch in this one, because not only they do perfectly matched teams, but Havu, unfortunately, haven't won a best of 3 against Gambit in 2020, despite playing them 3 times in a best of 3. Was they had an additional best of 1 there as well. So, I think Gambit pretty keen to keep their record of success here in the best of 3s, only losing a map here or there within those 3-map series. Let's have it this time around, just plow their way on towards the B site. Take it pretty easily. I think this will be a quick save from Gambit now, not wanting to lose any of this extra weaponry or the Kevlar on Shiro, just to have something a little bit more worthwhile in round 3.
Of course, Gambit youngsters have had massive success through these loot bet tournaments. They're playing in the grand final of the previous season tomorrow afternoon. Of course, that's against Heroic instead of Havu. Swap the H's, and it just shows how competitive they are in online Counter-Strike, even against some of these playoff teams that we often see coming in and beating up the opposition. Didn't happen against this Gambit youngsters side. I was actually speaking to Lucas from the Brazilian stream the other day, and he said that there's a chance that they just get rid of the youngsters tag, and this becomes the team. They could be good enough. I wouldn't go that far, Flakes.
It's tough. I think they're so early days. There's still a lot of improvement that they're working on right now that perhaps it may be too soon to throw them in the deep end and put kind of that prestigious Gambit tag in them in full. But at the same time, these guys are Gambit right now. There is no Gambit main team, as it were.
Exactly.
So
that's what's so interesting. Obviously, as the organization, you're always a little bit frisky about who you're giving that main team status spot to, considering they are a major winning team. Like, hard to believe they haven't even got a roster right now. They're in the... I don't know if there's been a team that's another team that's won a major without, well, I guess SK. They got a roster right now.
this time around, Havu again opting for the B take, but with a little bit of extra spice thrown in. They had a player flanking in through mid, which just makes it that even bit more complex to hold on to. Becomes a quick site take 1, and from there, Pistols attempting to retake once more. The only difference is there is a rifle thrown in as well, but, well, Gambit still dropping like flies here. Havu have the perfect start after all.
This is really impressive from Havu. They're often just great at this T side. They've got a very unique style, of course. This group of players has been a staple of online CS for many years at this point. You see the Finnish scene being a very common mix match of the same parts, turning your Lego Ferris wheel into a whole theme park. 3-0. And we do see them, of course, take this early lead. This will be the first major challenge. Gambit youngsters, it's full rifles in hand. Shiro back with that AWP for the first time here on Dust 2. 4 other automatic rifles, one of which being the AUG that we don't as often see as we used to. Obviously, after it being nerfed 2-3 months ago, maybe even a little bit longer, time just sort of flies in Counter-Strike. Updates that seem to come just yesterday end up being months in the past. I love this setup from Gambit youngsters though. They've got the double swing on towards long. It's a very convincing opening gun round. Havu just get completely stuck in their tracks all over this map. Zori's got a massive challenge on his hands if he's going to do anything here. Probably going to be one and done at best. Need to take these shots incredibly quickly, no scoping a lot of the time, and sneaking into the smoke. It's not going to work out. There's Gambit's first, and they don't even take 1 HP's worth of damage in round number 4.
Exactly how you want your rounds to go, though, right? No better way to prove your dominance than to win without taking a single point in damage. Interesting to see the past matches reflected on the screen there. Not something we were going to touch on, but of course worth noting that Havu are on a bit of a loss streak at the moment, only able to throw in a single victory in a sea of what was 5 matches lost overall recently.
That's disappointing, and obviously that momentum obviously plays a factor match to match as well. If you're running bad, if you don't feel like everyone's firing on all cylinders, it can definitely get inside your head before the series has even started.
I do think so, but I think
a
quick counteracting point would be just to keep in mind that these guys have played Gambit. This is a third best of 3 in like 3 weeks of Gambit versus Havu. So if
you've got to play the mental factor more, hasn't it?
Oh, if there's ever a team you know how to play against, it's going to be these guys now. They must have, because I'm assuming they scrimmed at some point as well, so they're going to know the insides and outsides of each other at this point. That's what makes these best of 3 so interesting to watch, though.
Yeah, you see that anti-stratting taking place. That's what we saw in the RPU versus Navi Junior series. They played each other 2 days in a row in consecutive best of 3s in the lower bracket, in the upper bracket grand final, or the upper bracket final, I should say, and then the grand final the day later. And you saw that change up came as Navi Junior played more series against their opponent. It became closer. You learn, you adapt. You're often not scrimming against teams that you're going to absolutely overwhelm. Going to be scrimming and practicing against teams who are commonly fairly closely matched within the same league. That's another sticking point, isn't it? If they are getting invited to so many of the same tournaments, they will be familiar with each other's style. They'll be watching those demos, especially losing those series. You will be looking at those ones back, having the coach break everything down. Very important to do that post-match workout. So you know what you're facing next time you face these opponents, which seems to be all too common.
Still looking to see what he can find towards long, but nothing showing itself early on here. Really, the first attention Comes towards short. That's where that AWP could come into play, but maybe a little too narrow. Well, let's take that back. Sure, quite flexible in his position. Just cuts them down. Gambit annihilating the short play thus far. Nothing that Havu seem to be able to do about it. Gonna get one player across though, seemingly unaware of the fact that he's been able to slip through the cracks there. With the smoke though, can't take the jewel. That works out quite nicely. Gambit able to hide themselves and ensure they don't take any losses here, keeping the 5-on-3 scoreline. So this retake just became even harder.
That bomb down is the main sticking point to apply the pressure. There's Zori putting at least one kill on the board. This AK is still a potent threat, and Doto needs the headshots, can't find it. 3 players survive on the Gambit youngsters retake. Anything towards that A bomb site. All of these retake scenarios, especially with the head glitch angles firmly in place, become very difficult at times in testing, especially when those opening frags come through. Gambit youngsters survive. They're even able to thrive at the end of that one. And we won't see the money starting to aggressively build yet, with a couple of rifles still left to be dropped. What has Super got, though? I think he's going to get out an M4 as well. So we'll see a fairly perfect bite. No, it's an AK, so even better. 2 to 4. And this is where Havu want to keep the ball rolling. Otherwise, as you said, lots of successful performances, and this is exactly why, using and abusing that smoke to perfection to find a clean opening frag. Enters, yes, he does get dropped to 15 in the meantime, but it's Gambit youngsters finding these kills all over the board, a 2-man advantage.
Nice shot from Shiro. Capturing Zuri there means he can't do a thing. Trapping Havu outside of these B doors. Gonna leave them in a bit of a dire spot now, because how are they going to get through? I mean, it's an absolute fortress here, impenetrable in nature. And Shiro goes, you know what, screw this, I'm going to get aggressive. Tries to force the issue. That doesn't really work out, but then you just use Supra, straight through the door, save the AWP, job done.
It's amazing how much I love betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better is when I can use Cash Out. Wait, you didn't know about Cash Out? Cash Out is when you can get your stake back even when your bet is going against you. Just one hit and your money is safe. So go to LootBet to cash out now.
What's interesting is digging back into the stats in the head-to-head here, is these two teams have actually played 16 maps against each other in the last 3 months. That is a lot of maps. Most of the time, if we're lucky, we've got 2 or 3 maps to compare, but you can definitely dig more into the stats here with, Gambit youngsters often taking the lion's share of those series. A 2-0 last week, a 2-1 the week before. Havu a best of 1 here and there, and only 1 series found against this Gambit youngsters side in the last 4 best of 3s that they've played. In the last 5 best of 3s that they've played. So yeah, they've only got a 1-5 record in series against this Gambit youngsters team. That is definitely a question mark on their ability to take this series. Taking a 2-0 back a long time ago at this point. The only 2-0 that they were able to take was actually back in October of 2019. That's almost out of the depth of field that we usually look at in terms of recent results. Also almost becomes a little null and void. And apart from that, it's a map here and there. Usually taking at least 1 map in the best of 3. And a single best of 1 win. So the stats definitely favor Gambit youngsters. And a lot of these series cutting incredibly close. We've seen Havu play Dust 2 against this Gambit youngsters side many times, winning all but 1 of those Dust 2 bouts. The most recent, funnily enough, Gambit youngsters winning. So that is definitely one to look at. When you're winning a certain map in a series, and that's the only time you're having any success against a certain team, and then they end up winning it to close out a best of 3, that is definitely going to get inside your head. How the hell are we going to beat these guys if the one map that we were actually having success on, we're now losing?
Yeah, it's got to be something that sticks in your head, right? Sticks out like a sore thumb. Worth noting Shearer's performance right now. 11-5.
Brilliant start. Still very early days. Only
Very early days for his
rounds
career.
been played.
Shearer is 18 years old. Recently turned as well, I believe. Incredible player for his age. Really is. Definitely a young talent. I think everyone needs to be keeping an eye on it. An average rating last time I checked about 1.3, which
That's
for his caliber of player and sort of the team he's on right now, that's really solid.
And especially being part of one of these youngsters' feeder teams where you definitely have the opportunity to move only up. What is that health pin? I've never seen that before. The observer just pointed it out. Does anybody know? Do you know, Flakes?
I missed that. I was looking at some
It's a
stats.
health pin. Does somebody in Twitch chat will know? We've got
health pin?
2,500 people here. One of you people in chat have got to tell me what that health pin means. Does it mean that he plays a lot of Surgeon Simulator?
It's the Half-Life Alex collectible pin. The heart rate.
Ooh. There we go. I think you might have beaten the chat as well to that one.
That nade's going to beat most people to it as well. Look at the damage from that bad boy. Really much the pistols seem to be able to do here. Gambit just roll on in. Point blank execution. And they continue to move on forward. Here's hoping we get to see a bit of a scoreboard action. We can double check that pin for you.
That is as well as you can play the B-bomb site. I know it's against only pistols, but he's basically drawn an imaginary red line around these boxes, knowing exactly where he's allowed to peek so he doesn't get caught off guard by those Glocks. Remember, if those Glocks get too up close and personal, it's very easy to lose that B-bomb site. You then give away an AK-47. We don't know how the dynamics of the retakes play on B. It's usually incredibly difficult to get a good foothold in any sort of rotate and retake there. But doing everything on his lonesome. Our first ace of the day. I think it's our first ace of the tournament, Flakes, against the Eco on the B-bomb sites. Which, nevertheless, is still impressive. We've seen a lot of those Ecos pose problems for many teams. Gambit youngsters, those simple rounds. I think that that's a bit of a symptom of what we're due to see. Remember, winning a round that convincingly means no rifles have to be invested. That money can now start to blossom. Supras is starting to flower upon $8,500. Everybody else kind of a little lower than that, with Shiro and Co below 2,000, but it's a bit of a mixed bag. This is where Havu really have to start to get back into this one. The execute onto short. There's not much coverage here. Inters has to hit the shots.
This is where Axel, though, time to shine for him, to be honest. One tap galore. Actually isn't able to really let rip, but, well, he plays it perfectly anyway. He tucks himself in, plays it a little bit more safe rather than just going for the straight taps so it doesn't quite connect. Even struggling with the sprays there as well, but again, he's really done his job here. He's already found 2 kills. Falling now, not ideal, as the rest of his teammates are struggling a little bit as well. Especially with the bomb being down, they do have to get a move on. 15 seconds left on the clock, of course. It's time to go, Gambit. Pull the trigger. You got to get moving that P250 up close. Surely got to do something, but the answer is no. Taken down by the Krieg. I'll have to be sure to escape, live to fight another day. Let's have to get to 5 rounds in play here on their T side.
That was really disappointing there from Gambit youngsters. It felt like Axel had definitely done enough. He had distracted all three players upon short for just so long. Havu had no idea what was going on for the longest time. And above all, they just couldn't deal with that defender from behind. Luckily, the bomb had gone down incredibly early. And that is why a T side, I always say, you need to play that C4 to your advantage. If you plant it early on the bomb site, you're applying overwhelming pressure. Gambit youngsters well out of position, not going for the rotate. And you see they get timed out of that scenario. Maybe with a little more time on the clock, they can actually hook in and find that A site back. But Havu don't give them the opportunity. It's overwhelmingly aggressive. And of course, that bomb goes down exceptionally early, which is always an advantage in Counter-Strike.
Shearer going to try and see if he can slip in a kill here before falling off short. Jump boost comes through and he lands it absolutely perfectly before then running away, living to fight another day. Perfect start. A lot more to be done though. 45 seconds on the clock here. Gambit still have 4 more players to find, all of which are desperate to get up onto that A site here as the push begins. Shiro up close and personal. Goes for the no-scope. P250 out. Job done. It's a shame the first shot didn't connect, but we'll be able to fill in the blanks with now an AK. I said it was an absolute talent. Look at that and tell me he is not a player to watch.
Yeah, well, here come the shots that really matter. And you see, even missing that first kill, he keeps his calm, switching to the AK as well. It's just absolutely sensational. Talk about the first ace of the tournament. There's the second coming right after it. 5-5. And Gambit youngsters seem to just impress me more and more. I know that Havu are trailing. It's are part of the problem. Here comes to spray away, and it's able to get the job done from outside of the B-bomb site at this point. This is a position that we never could have seen before due to the dynamics of those doors. And Havu are struggling. They're struggling to get that bomb towards the site. They're for that C4 had gone down and away. But I think their priority, Flakes, is keeping as many of their rifles alive as possible, keeping this money rolling. Even holding as many AKs through to this next round is massively important. And look how powerful this new position is. I think it's going to make the Eco B rushes much harder on Dust 2. Just making that cross looks virtually impossible. You need a smoke there.
Sure, getting under pressure once more from Long. Decides to back away, live to fight another day. I wonder if Doto's position under tunnels actually could catch the likes of Axel off guard, as they are pushing up top mid right now. It'll be a matter of timing. I think he's just got through. Because Doto is low tunnels, I imagine their teammates think that they're pretty safe here. Looks like they will be spotting for it. Slowly, ready and waiting. Expecting the second player as well means Inter's walks away on just 11 HP with a molly to trap them in place.
It's massively unfortunate. Gambit and youngsters had no way of knowing it, but they were almost being baited into that setup. Now it all comes down to this A-site defense, and it seems to be Shiro doing all of the work on his lonesome. He's had a sensational start and needs to pick them apart between these smokes to make the difference. Up upon the site, he's got so many angles to contend with. This is going to be such a difference maker. Hoodie finds 1 and 2. That's to shut down. As Havu, they seem to come alive at intermittent points. It's been enough to merit them 6 rounds here on Dust 2. Could all still fall apart, but even Stevens going into the meat of this first half. That's not what Super wanted.
Far from ideal, but at least he can save. At least there's that. Gotta look for the positives in the bad situations. Also worth noting that this game quite literally could not be any closer.
Yeah, going into this one, the odds as close as you can possibly get going into this one, and well, look at the odds once again. 6-6. Can't really predict this one. I can't predict a series at the best of times, but this one, I'm not going to give it a go. 6-6. The AWPs come out for both sides. Enters Shiro, both with that sniper rifle. I think the man to watch out for on the CT side is Shiro right now. He's had a sensational start, and it looks like he's going to need another big round if he's going to push Gambit youngsters ahead.
Jules was long, getting a little bit messy here. In fact, they've only got 1 kill in the bag. So it's 12 HP. That nade, I thought it would be enough to put him over the line. That's insane. Axel, what if he just falls back the car, play the angle here? They have mollies to deal with him, so we'll be almost certain death, but maybe you can do some work before then. Looks like instead, though, he's going to focus attention towards short and CT. It makes sense. "30 seconds to work with." Havu and Co have to be careful now as they get ready to hit themselves in the B side. Flash drop dead set in front of them. Supra ready and waiting to strike. This is just execution. Every single player on the Havu side just being shut down without a moment's notice.
That's an absolutely wonderful round from Gambit youngsters. You see that they go down a player early, also low HP on another, and they respond absolutely flawlessly. They correctly predict that Havu are setting it towards the B bomb site. They have the majority of their defense there, and AWP to pick up the pieces as well. And it's just sensational to shut down the Finns. Great round there. Inters could, possibly even should have hit that first shot. That would have been a man up. I don't think they're going to be shaking and quaking nonetheless, considering this is just Eagles and attack 9. I say just Eagles, and mistake often made is Shiro. He's missing a couple of shots. That flash, it was actually a team flash to bail him out. Havu flustering themselves through mid doors. Could have definitely been an AWP cleanly taken away from the server. This time just looks to be a fairly standard round. They've got to challenge this AWP once again. Inters should be able to shut them away. As Havu don't get anywhere near that bomb site. 8-6.
Gambit starting to build out a bit of a lead here, it has to be said, and this is where things get a little worrying for Havu, right? Because when you look at the past best of threes, pretty much Havu's key area of success in the best of three is taking their map pick. That's what guarantees them at least a chance at a third map, because they take their map pick. The 2-0s have continually came because Gambit have been able to find that map pick of Havu. That's the recent trend, and I'm starting to get concerned here. Obviously, a whole second half to see, but looking like it is going to be a 9-6-4 Gambit, and a strong performance overall from them on their CT side. If they carry that forward, Havu lose their pick on Dust 2, we go to a second. there may well be another Gambit 2-0 on the cards today.
One other thing to point out is the majority of the time that Havu have actually taken Dust 2, it's been with massive T sides, either 9, 10, at one point 12 rounds on the T side of Dust 2. Obviously massive performances which you can't expect every time, but in this scenario, they aren't even going to win the half. Most of the time that would be acceptable, but in the context of this series, with their prior history that we can dig our teeth into, it's really interesting. A lot of the time you just, with the mixed match of rosters, you just can't dig into the past. Once again, it's Gambit youngsters taking these first couple of picks. Might have seen the jump peak for a second, but Gambit youngsters don't want to take the risk. So he's on such low HP. If he can find a freebie, then this opens everything up, and that evens the whole playing field. Shiro's on such tiny HP that Havu should be able to sneak a 7th. And that's exactly what they need in the context of this matchup. There's still a chance, but that gets shut away by Zori. Beautiful way to finish for Havu as they slide towards their CT side at half-time.
Quite literally couldn't be any closer. And when you look at the way the rounds have broken out, it's been pretty close too. I think the only thing worth noting is that we did see more success on those gun rounds from the Gambit side. If you remove the pistol from the equation, gun round success definitely favouring Gambit. Not by a huge margin, but definitely by a decent gap.
If there was ever a time to shine, it's right here, right now. You see that Shiro's definitely taken that opportunity with both hands. A sensational opening half for him on Dust 2. What a way to start this series, and hanging open, the flashes don't connect, and well, Havu, they get completely shut down on long. It's all down to Zori if they don't want to lose this A-bomb site. He's joined by Saw. He's got the smoke. So this can delay. It's not really a delay with 1 minute 30 that they're looking for. It's these kills, and they're just not finding them. Zori's the last point of contention. He has now got Slowy for support, but he's losing all of his teammates around him. He's just not finding these refrags.
The patience of Gambit. They basically just pitched their tent on long corner right now.
They've got the log fire burning. They've got the marshmallows out. And now they're finally going to ruffle it all away and push this A-bomb site. It has to be a flurry of headshots to finish. With so much time on the board, Slowy might actually be able to do something here. Nathaniel in a 1 versus 1. How has this fallen apart? A pair of headshots swiftly found, and the third doesn't come to fruition. It's 9-7. Gambit youngsters, they get bailed out nonetheless. This was the shot that opened things up. Actually aiming for the wrong guy, but this... Look how crispy clean that is. Like a packet of Walkers.
I don't think their replay did it justice. That was slowed down in slow-mo to show the kill. That was lightning fast in real time. That was incredible. But drive-by flick, exactly what we want to be seeing. I don't see those very often. Especially with a pistol. Havu. Just scouts in play now, a bit of Kevlar as well. They've gone all the way in the round to try and hold on to it, but not the greatest starts here early on. Is looking better and better now as they just slowly but surely pick away at the CT side, who I mean, they're all here on the site. They know exactly where Gambit is going, but unfortunately, they're not really winning any of the duels.
They're also important to win at this stage in the game when you have gone for the force buy. I think the one thing from this tournament is that conversion ratio on that second round. It seems to be quite a bit higher than we're used to seeing. Obviously, there has been a massive rebalancing of a lot of these weapons. Maybe not massive, but a slight rebalancing, and the slightest of changes make the biggest of differences. 10-7, and about to be 11-7 in this series. Gambit Youngsters, a map that, if Havu were going to take this series, a map that they have to win. On paper, of course, anything can happen, but Gambit Youngsters have such a good record against the Finns that it does pose the question, how the hell are Havu going to dig their way out of this hole if they're unable to take Dust 2? It's got to be off the back of a massive CT side. It has to start with the next gun round. This crossfire is pretty much just going to slam them into the floor. 11-7, a lead of 4.
Yeah, Havu really have to show us something. Dare I say, almost it has to be now. I think the next sort of 1 to 2 gun rounds are going to be critical for Havu. Otherwise, the rounds will start to slip away very quickly. If there's one thing Gambit are good at, it's taking a lead and turning it into something that is unstoppable. A tidal wave that just rushes, surging, in fact, through the scoreline. This has to be something for Havu early on. And I mean, look at Shiro tagging Zari through the door, 50 HP. That'd be so frustrating starting rounds over and over again with the tag.
Especially going into your first gun round when it's everything to play for. Havu desperately need this one if they're going to have a chance of taking this first map. You get picked apart with the AWP through double doors at the start of a round, down to 29 HP, rendering him not completely useless, but definitely significantly weakened. A minute 10 on the board, and Gambit Youngsters just aren't forcing the issue whatsoever. Yes, they're going for coordinated peaks. You see the run boost there onto short. It's not going to find anything except a little bit of information. But at the end of the day, Gambit Youngsters aren't forcing this. They're just playing a patient game of Counter-Strike. You don't see Dust 2 play this slowly too often, and it seems like they're finding all of the opening picks off the back of it. All of this damage dealt. The opening kill, of course, thins out the defense. It's a real problem on Dust 2 where you want to have 2 or 3 players pincered on that bomb site. That's a nice trade.
Surprising, actually, the impact that rifles are having for Havu versus the AWP. I thought that's one of the key differences between these two teams here, is Gambit do tend to be a little bit more reliant on those picks coming in from the Europa, whereas Havu can cope even if Suri's a little bit on the quieter side of life.
That's the scary thing about playing against Shiro, is you know that he's going to find those opening picks. You've got to be very careful about taking those early engagements. Nobody wants to be the person that goes down in the 5 versus 5 early. Give that opening to your opposition, especially in a closely contested series like this.
Especially on the CT side as well. It's one thing to give up a pick early on the T side, where you can kind of take a fight, get a bit aggressive, and find it back with a trade. Giving something up on the CT side is really difficult because it can really just open up a round. It creates a play, an option for your opponents that they otherwise wouldn't have access to. Finding the CT player in mid, for example, there's nothing your teams can do about that to stop then an immediate mid to B happening and the B player being left solo. So you've always got to be careful with little things like that, not to give yourself up and lose the map control that your team have thanks to you being there.
And on the T side, building on that, it doesn't feel as bad. You've got to make a push and a peak sooner or later. The omen's on you to find those opening picks, and this time, Gambit youngsters don't find it. Once again, Zori towards the middle of the map at this point. It's going to be instantly found. That Molotov's nice. It actually counts away slowly from this engagement. Gives away this A bomb site momentarily. Enough time for this C4 to go down and away. But there should be enough of a claw back in this retake to be able to do the damage. C4 goes down. That gives away the cash. But headshots need to be found all over for Axel to have any opportunity. And he instantly drops. And it does look like Havu are going to prioritize that double AWP setup at this point. On Dust 2 can be incredibly important. In those retakes, it's always difficult. But the idea of a double AWP is you're preventing that bomb from even going down in the first place.
Exactly, the goal is to not put yourself in a retake. Can you imagine having double AWP for a B retake? You would immediately save, but the objective is to not get into those scenarios. The other thing is that when you're double AWPing, it's typically because you know your opponent isn't going for very many aggressive B plays. Usually the double AWP shines when you've got a T side who are slightly more biased to A, which, when you look at Gambit, pretty much everything they've done is happening towards that A side, so it makes complete sense to be double AWPing right now.
This round specifically might be a bit of a jack-in-the-box, considering Gambit youngsters' money is riding incredibly low. You might see a couple of sets of Kevlar come into play. I wouldn't expect to see any force buy. This isn't really a massive dilemma, I didn't think, but Shiro apparently disagrees. He sticks with a scout. And we see this full force come through Flakes. This might be the mistake. Not sure. What are your thoughts? I think that this buy is just very awkward, personally.
Yeah, it's... You gotta think, what else could you do with that money? You could play it safe, play from 11-11 even. Then it's not so bad. Buying now, it's...
You could have a party like Inter's. How does he hit it every time?
Literally every time. I think this buy really commits you, and I think that's what I'm worried about now. Is if you drop here, you're looking at 11-11. I think pretty much, and that's... Yeah, it could have been better.
Could have been better from the expert himself. 11-9 right now as the score seems to be tightening. Havu, great CT sides on Dust 2 certainly aren't alien to them. CT sides throughout Finland, often some of the stronger Counter-Strike that they play. It's awkward that Zori now forced back to the A bomb site. Of course, you don't want to go for the double AWP firmly on B, even with an AWP on mid, and then the second on the B bomb site leaves part of the map very vulnerable. Gambit youngsters, they'll be sticking together though. You see that they've got those smokes. 3 for the A bomb site. Axel will be throwing one, possibly over the top towards long. Not sure. I've actually got, yeah. These smokes now going to be dispatched. And so it all comes down to timing during the middle of the map. If that pick can be found, if they can pretty close to this A-bomb site, then there's an opportunity, and that Galil opens things up. Axel's right behind the attack, and he's just going to speed up off the back of this. Needs the one, Deegan finds it, and Slowy, this is that 1v2, that AWP retake scenario that gets instantly slammed into the ground. Shiro with a headshot, it's Gambit youngsters. The risk somehow pays off, and they are granted their 12th round.
This is huge now, right? Because not only has the risk paid off, it's going to screw Havu. Win this round, win this final full buy, you've broke Havu's economy. You're at 14-9. That puts you one away, basically, from securing what is not only your first map point, but also a map point where you're going to be against pistols once more. So this is huge for Gambit. That is a huge, huge round to find. And the way they went about it too is crazy, but it paid off. It really did.
Havu definitely on the back foot, but not by far. Not by much whatsoever. This could easily be double digits and beyond right now. And remember that Gambit Youngsters' economy is right back to practically zero if they lose this. They're really not going to have a lot of money to earn whatsoever. I think they'd go for a buy nevertheless. Here come the headshots. Supra opens early. And Hoodie just takes one in the face. That leaves a lot of pressure on Slowy on this A-bomb site. He's one bullet away from death. That AWP negates this factor ever so slightly. A nicely placed HE would have been the issue. Of course, Gambit Youngsters don't have one, and there's a complete shutdown. Where were the smoke flakes? That cross is basically suicide if you don't have the utility in place, and I think the Gambit Youngsters wanted the element of surprise. They hadn't been spotted. They wanted to burst out and surprise Havu, but doesn't happen this time.
Yeah, this is kind of where that round now backfires, because you're also going to find that Gambit have no money left after this. So as much as that puts them in a great position to find Havu, and we talked about basically getting themselves that map point almost for free, instead they've just kind of delayed the inevitable, which is that, well, Havu get one step closer to tying things up. It kind of just brings them back to, okay, now do we force again, or what do we do? It kind of puts them in an odd point, so I'm curious to see what they choose to do now with the money they've got. They could force up around this. I mean, Super could go for AK Kev, Inters Galil Kev, you got a bit of utility there as well. Have those last two players with limited money go full util. It's not horrendous, but it's far from great.
Look how effectively Shiro is dominating the entry frag. 6 entry kills. That's by far the most that we've seen today, and of course, there's a lot more play in this map. The opportunity to get onto 7 or 8 perhaps. This round would be a massive opportunity to find that opening pickup, especially with that AWP towards B. If you can find an angle to work with, then there's every opportunity that Gambit Youngsters can burst off the back of this. Remember that B has pretty much been a non-factor in this second half. Gambit Youngsters, they've pretty much been cordoning off this whole site. They've been relentlessly hitting A. Oh, I love that boost. It's right over that double box. Good little foothold onto that B bomb site, but nothing found. I'm pretty sure Gambit Youngsters, they're surely going to be expecting only one defender here. Doto, oh, he instantly swings, and now Slowy's giving away his position. There goes the nade, but he's in a world of hurt. Supra, it's a double entry. The changes, though, double doors aren't going to be any advantage to Havu. This 3 versus 5 looks dead in the water. Ooh, I'd love to see this retake. I'd love to
What
see
is this game?
Legs.
Oh, this game confuses me. It really is pretty wild.
It's a save nonetheless, so we don't.
Yeah, they have to save it. There's no way they would retake this, but it's just odd that Gambit are able to claw their way into some of these rounds in the way they are. Really is wild. Like they're able to make the really difficult, crazy rounds stick, but then when it's full buy and something a little bit more standardized in terms of kind of snap buy, good utility and so on, that's where things get really messy for them. Well, heck, even against pistols.
Betting on esports. It's so cool. What's even better?
Not sure if it's just me, folks, but we've had
definitely not just you.
Sounds like the
even better is when I can.
yeah, not quite ideal. Well, let us look into that for a second. 'Cause, 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 'cause,
is when I can use better is when I can use.
I'd love to watch the rest of this match, Flakes. This is obviously a tantalizingly close map. Bit of a break in pace. Of course, 10-13 being the scoreline. I'm excited about seeing the rest of this one, but I'm very much afraid that we might not get the opportunity to see it.
Yeah, we're literally frozen in time right now, figuring out what's even better is when I can use cash out. Well, I'd like to cash out and get back to the game if possible. That would be ideal.
Oh, I can see some Counter-Strike, Flakes.
That's what I'd like to see.
10-13, and no kills have come through as of this point. Hoodie finally changes that. Here we go into the meat of this game.
It's died again. So unfortunately, we're not back into the meat of this one anytime soon. It's well, 25 seconds. We're going to see 10 seconds at a time, folks. All right, it's going to be like a stop motion cast. Did Shearer plant the bomb or not? Well, there's the answer. We didn't quite make it. Not sure what happened between them, but looks like some pretty intense stuff happened on the A site.
That did look like an exciting round.
It looked like quite a thriller, didn't it? We just unfortunately didn't get to take you all through it.
It's like a 1920s movie that you might see in a naughty bar.
What are your references today?
Just a classic stop motion porn joke. There we go.
Taking you back to the 60s, it seems. Oh, what a time to be alive.
So it feels like we're still at the same sort of position as we were at before. Very back and forth play. Obviously, Gambit youngsters taking one round, Havu back with another two, and it feels like this one is still very much up in the air. This is the dilemma, though, Flakes. Do they go for this buy? I just don't think they can afford to. Of course, that loss bonus, that's well, previously $1,900. Must be at $2,400 after this round is lost. And Gambit youngsters don't decide to go for this buy. They bite the bullet. I think they might be biting quite a few more bullets before this round is over. Very possibly 13-13 after this. Looks like Havu are firing on all cylinders. This round, they know exactly what is going on. That Molotov shouldn't be much of a factor, but that MP9 certainly is. Chewing through opponents towards the middle of the map. And this one looks all wrapped up on Dust 2.
Yeah, it looks like we are going to see things tie up.
Oh, and look at those odds. Back to where we started. Dead even going into these last couple of rounds. I think that Havu might have a slight advantage. Not just that opening frag, but the momentum of taking those previous rounds, breaking Gambit youngsters. They feel like gangsters. Finally. They've been fighting tooth and nail, but yeah, finally have to eat their eco, finally have to let that scoreline close, and now they have to play the money rounds. Very likely, well, we're definitely going to rounds 29 and possibly even 30 here. This is one that both teams need to win. Gambit youngsters, especially considering they're on no cash. They've got $400 between the lot of them, 300 even. It's even worse. Just nothing to work with. Of course, after this, it'll be the loss bonus and only the loss bonus to make the magic happen. He puts a lot of pressure on Zori. Finds a kill in the meantime. That's that prong on long not dealt with. And Supra creeping closer to this smoke. He needs to stay alive. And really, he needs to find 2+ kills here. He needs to give Nafani a chance right above him. And I just cannot see this happening. They instantly double peak. And it's a 1 versus 4 Havu. They should be going for gold here on Dust 2 as the final headshot comes in. Lots and lots of time on this retake. It was Zori's AWP that applied the pressure, forced Supra to try and make that aggressive play towards CT spawn. He needed to get up close and personal to that smoke, go for a knockout blow, and it just wasn't enough. He couldn't hit the shots. Havu up to 14. And what's worse, Flakes, is his cash. It absolutely sucks. They've got nothing really to work with. It's going to be a half buy in round number 28 as this map is starting to fall apart from the CIS squad.
It's really not ideal for Gambit. After such a successful stint to get themselves to 13, it all seems to fall apart. The momentum of Havu, just a train that doesn't seem to want to stop moving forward. Already 2 kills here. These pistols unable to achieve much, if anything at all, it seems. Slow, potentially going to be cool, but he's got through. And look at that frag. Lightning fast.
I feel like no amount of crouch walking or crab walking is going to help Shiro out of this one. It's Zori again. 2 quick kills. Those AWPs finding 3 of 5 of those frags. And Havu within touching distance of this finish line. Of course, Gambit youngsters 2 in a row would close us to OT. 2 of the last 16 maps that these 2 teams have played have gone to overtime. This could very well be another one. It's been such a hard-fought battle since the start. These teams have been neck and neck. I wouldn't be surprised to see bonus rounds at the end of this one. Gambit youngsters, they go for the burst. That's a crucial first frag. I love that they don't close off the back of it as well. They could have isolated Slowy, but what's more likely is his AWP just finds that trade frag. And they're able to put this one apart. That smoke is genius, Flakes. What it means is Gambit youngsters will have to now check the car angle. If the Molotov was burning and toasting, they pretty much know that there's nobody towards that right side. But Havu, they're just 1 step ahead. Yes, they do expend a smoke. But with a minute left in the round and the half the push already being made, do they really need them? And there's another one. They've doubled down on the tactic. This is so clever. I love this. This is so smart. If anybody from Havu finds a kill off the back of Gambit youngsters having to hard check this spot, that'd be so intelligent. It looks like they saw where those smokes were coming from and they might have predicted that that was a bit of a bait. Doesn't look like anybody's really checking towards car, but nevertheless, it's still just a lovely piece of thinking. Headshot so key. Saw doubles it up. Still everything to play for, and the flank gets found. Axel just 41 HP and an ace needed here on Dust 2 to keep Gambit youngsters in the running. Again, I feel like a broken record, but it has to be all about the headshots, and Zori closes this map out. Havu, how do they do it? It feels like from the start they were playing just behind, creeping ahead to 16 at the end. Sensational stuff.
Yeah, an incredible result for the first map as they get this one in the bag, but I'll tell you what's more incredible, the fact that we have 2 more maps potentially this Counter-Strike coming right up, folks.